So hey, we're here now with Pekko and me. JQ is gonna be tuning up um, at the end of the show, towards the end of the show. Pekko, you're fresh from the Euros. How are you, dude?
I mean, I would say slightly disappointed because definitely had the base for something better for sure, but it was just bit unfortunate, let's say, that it went to a tire gamble most of the time, and it was probably the craziest race I've been like from that point of view. That's almost like that everyone said the race that we were like I was spending so much time watching others driving like on the track. I just said to JQ, okay, I'm gonna go watch and you rent the car just to see how the track will be. Like
Yeah,
it was funny because so many people were watching how people are doing, even from the lower like groups.
yeah.
Everyone was watching, and then when they came in, they were watching what tires this guy went on, and what tires, and check the lap times and see who was the fastest, and go check the tires again, and it was quite crazy, let's say. But yeah, it
All
was
right.
yeah, it was something different, let's say. But yeah, I mean, could have been way better. Top seeded the practice, that was kind of cool, but yeah, definitely did not pay off at the end. But yeah, was able to do the fastest lap of the race, so pretty happy with that also. But yeah, in the finals got a bit uh, unfortunate also. Got taken out a couple times, and then in the second final, I every time someone crashed in front of me, I hit him, so it was a bit unfortunate. But yeah, tried to climb up a bit, but yeah, couldn't do much and finished 10th overall. So still made the main, so it's not too bad result. But considering how the pace was, not the best out.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, your first A final in Electric Euros, believe it or not. You made the Worlds final before you
Yeah,
made the Euros final in Electric.
yeah.
So,
Well, it was kind of similar because there was
yeah.
also only European people there. So
Well, let's not get into that at this point of the show. We will wait for JQ to arrive to get onto that. And I need to be the judge here now that Keaton's not here to judge you guys or keep you in order. So yeah, that was Pekko's brief recap of what he's been up to this last weekend. Um, but right now we're gonna be paying some bills before we get going on the show. So thank you to J Concepts, our main sponsor of the show. Thank you also to Hitec RCD, Invisiblespeed, Sidewinder Fuels, ML Toys, Elite RC Productions, Tekno RC, Get Shit Done Coffee, One Up Racing, BeachRC.com, A Main Hobbies, SMC Racing, SJ Racing, and Shaw's Hobby Shop and Truginats coming up later on in the year, I believe. And then, of course, the complimentary shout out to David Ronafol, Robert Batty, Alex Hackberg, Maddie G, Pekko, and Iona, as well as Mason Fuller. To be honest, didn't I take you away from that list because you're a
yeah, I
co-host
was
now?
kicked from there already. I got upgraded.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I'm kicking out
Oh,
Iona because he hasn't made an A main in probably like a year. So he'll get back there when he gets some good results in.
oh, that's gonna be
So we're
next week.
Yeah, well, he'll get back there next week. Then put some pressure on
Yeah,
him. Thank you to the NNRC squad, our patrons, our YouTube members, as well as all of you guys watching, subscribing, liking, and following all our stuff. If you wanna support us directly, there will be links in the description for each of the creators on the show. If you have a favorite guy on the show and you just want to give them $5 or whatever, you can do that from the links in the description. Um, right now, I don't have any shout outs to get going on the show. So I don't know if anybody had a birthday, give him a birthday. I guess we can give a shout out to Joao Figueiredo for winning his first
yeah,
Euros title. Believe it or not, I don't think he's won even a B Euros, even though he
No.
probably got close a few times, or at least was very competitive at the B Euros before. So,
Yeah.
first European title for Joao. Congrats on him. And yeah, thanks as always to our title sponsor, J Concepts, and we're going to be looking at their beautiful advertisement. All right, let's get going on with the show. Not a whole lot of news from before the Euros or during the Euros, except for one interesting piece of news that came out just earlier today with Noha Ben Mohamed publishing on his socials that he would be departing from Adrian Bertin. He specifically thanked Adrian for all of the help and so on. But then still leaving Corsatec. So let me pull this up on the screen at the stage, and here we should have it. So here we have Noha's, of course, the beginning is in French, so we go to the English part. He says, after 4 amazing years with Corsatec, the time has come for me to turn the page and bring our collaboration to an end. And he says he would like to thank the Corsatec team, and a special thank you to Adrian, who, I mean, Adrian, I thought that was the whole reason why he would be running Corsatec, to have such a experienced and knowledgeable, mastermind behind his racing. To my understanding, he's still going to be running Sparko, so that's not going to be affecting him at all. Interestingly enough, I don't know how long Adrian Pariente has been running for Corsatec, but I did spot him being promoted by Corsatec on their socials. So he's running Sparko. It seemed like a perfect fit. Okay, they're getting all the Sparko guys. Adrian can help both of those brothers. Sure, Adrian is running Guimar in the on Nitro side of things, but still, very interesting move. We had a little bit of a chat with you, Pekko, about if something happened or if you knew something, but it just seems like some kind of disagreement or something, because it's in the middle of the year too. So don't really understand. I think I can't see it being like he's unhappy with the product. I can't see it being anything like weird. So it must have been just like he doesn't want to be in Adrian's team anymore. I don't see Adrian kicking him out either. Do you have anything to add, Pekko? I think you said there was some incident with Bolito at the Euros where they came together.
Yeah, I think there was some kind of disagreement between them, and I think it was after the first A final when I think, not 100% sure what happened on the track, but I think Noha and Bolito came together before the triple, and I got past them the same time, but I wasn't sure who took out who, so can't say anything about that. But I heard that in some way that was the problem, which started some arguments or something like that. I would say. I think so. but not 100% sure.
Yeah, but I mean, that to me that just sounds quite hasty with the decision. Having a argument on Sunday and posting on Tuesday that you'll be leaving a team and the guy. So
Yeah,
probably something more than that was already over there.
yeah, it
Um,
could be.
if we've been looking at this year, um, I'm not entirely sure if Polito was already running Corsatec in Nitro last year. I believe he wasn't, but he has been running Corsatec in Nitro this year for sure.
Yeah,
So perhaps it's Adrian putting his eggs into Polito's basket because Polito is he TQ'd the Euros for God's sake. So
mm,
he's also a lot older than Noha and so on. Kind of starting to close his peak of his career. So if I was Adrian, I would prioritize Polito over Noha. And maybe something like that dynamic has led to that
yeah,
agreement, which
could be.
eventually led to this.
But they are also hot-headed people, so everything can happen.
Yeah, there was also a previous incident when Noah was running X-Ray. He announced on Facebook just around the same time, around June or July of that year, that he'll just retire. He just wrote a post that I'll be retiring. Thanks you for all the memories. Very short, very brief post with a black and white photo of that he'll be retiring. And then few months went and he announced that he'll be joining Schumacher. So yeah, I mean there's a little asterisk on that one because I know for a fact that some X-ray contracts have had a clause that if you have good enough of results for some period of time, you will automatically have a renewed contract. So maybe that was something to get around that clause because they wanted to leave X-ray. Who knows? Nobody knows for sure except them probably. But definitely some weird stuff with teams happened before in Noah's past. But doesn't seem like he's leaving Schumacher. Doesn't seem like he'd be leaving Sparko. So just in a disagreement with Adrian and Corsatec at the moment. So yeah, very weird news to start out the day. We started the show with too. But that is something I spotted earlier on.
Yeah, I was really
Uh,
surprised when I saw that also.
yeah, because I mean, even us,
I didn't
Keenan's
pay
been
that much
hyping.
attention, but it was weird.
Yeah, even Keenan's been hyping up this partnership between Noah and Adrian. I mean,
Mm,
Adrian used to be the Padawan of Ronnefolk since 2009 when Ronnefolk was around 15, 16, say about the same age as Noah, and this looked like to be the next thing for
yeah,
Adrian. Noah is also French, so much easier for them to test together, to train together, to build a relationship together. But maybe that's also part of the issue that he didn't have as personal a relationship with Ronnefolk since they
mm,
lived on the other side of Europe. But it worked out really well on the track. All right, that's that for news. And the news were brought to you by Hitec RC. I apologize, I should have read that probably before. But as we all know, Hitec RC is one of the longest standing sponsors of the show. And if you're looking for top tier performance and reliability in your RC setup, Hitec RC has you covered with industry-leading chargers and servos for both surface and air applications. Whether you're bashing, racing, or taking to the skies, Hitec's advanced technology delivers precision, power, and durability when you need it most. From high torque servos to smart, efficient charging solutions, trust Hitec to keep you in control. Hitec, powering passion, elevating performance. Visit hijacks.com today. David Ronnefolk runs them. Did not have a great weekend this weekend. Cavalieri as well runs them. I don't know how he did this weekend. I run them and I won the last Finnish national. So, hey, thank you, Hitec, for sponsoring the show. They have great products, so please check them out at hijacks.com. Before we move on to our recap part of the show, we're going to pay some bills to our one of other, probably the longest standing sponsor of the show under a different banner, of course. JQ with Invisiblespeed. And you all already know which ad I'm going to play.
Stop scrolling, you wanna be Lewis Hamilton. Learn something new with Invisiblespeed. You can't do everything at 100% maximum speed. You have to be smooth. I mean, when you drive a real car, if you drive a real car, how do you just, when you get to a 90-degree corner to turn into the parking lot, do you go like that with the steering wheel? Do you like slam on the throttle and the brake? No. You probably turn the wheel smooth and get on the throttle smooth. Same thing with an RC car. If you want to learn more and make your speed visible, stop scrolling!
Stop scrolling, and wow, I played
Wow.
that ad, and look at this green-haired dude just showed up on your screen.
Amazing.
How do you feel, Joseph?
Well, Pekko needs to watch that ad a few times because he drives a real car, like I explained in the ad. Also, he slams the doors. I don't know why. He slammed the rear door of my van so hard that the number plate fell off. So, luckily, on track,
it's a French
he's
car,
learned.
So you need to shut the doors correctly.
No, it's an Opel.
And
right?
you know why I was driving like that? Because JQ was so late that I almost missed my marshalling. Actually, I did, but thank God there was another Finnish guy on the marshalling for me already. So that's why I had to drive a bit faster.
On track, he's learned to be smooth now. That's good. But with real cars, we're still working on that.
Yeah, I remember one of the first times Joseph saw Pekko drive a JQ was in Lanusia in, I think, Benidorm, Spain in 2018. And we was at the pits, and we was looking at Pekko, and I remember Joseph saying, "Wow, my car can be driven like that," because he wasn't that smooth always. I can tell you that much. All right, so let's get cracking with the show. We have the Euros, as we all know. They were held in Rakvere, Estonia, at RC Rakvere last weekend, 17th to 19th of July. And coming into the event, we had Ongaro coming home with a win in 2024 in Montpellier, coming home with the win in 2025 in Valladolid. There was a little touch with Canas last time out, just a little. And he ended up winning it. Canas TQ'd. It was a little bit controversial, but he did end up winning. Canas coming in with the Euros win in Madrid. And then now we want to move on to sort of, those are the obvious ones. One of the favorites to do good was actually you, Pekko. What was your expectations going into the event? Did you actually think you was able to win? Because if you look at the warm-up, you TQ'd, I think. You were second.
No, I didn't. I was second. Because it was raining.
Second, yeah. And then in the finals, you seemed like probably the fastest guy out there. But just narrowly because of the rain and all of that, ended up losing to Orlowski, which I want to talk about next, him and Schumacher going into the event. But yeah, what was your expectations? Obviously, you said before you top seeding. So
yeah,
after that should be high at least.
For me, I thought that, okay, if I drive the best I can, everything is working, I should be able to be on the podium. Shouldn't be a problem. And then after top seeding, the practice, I thought it is possible to win. But then the tire gamble started.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about
I had
that.
never been good at gambling. Like I say, if I put my own money, I will lose. But if I advise someone in gambling, he will win. So then I never used my own money on gambling. So didn't pay out this time either. Never gamble.
Yeah. You need to make educated guesses. That's the key.
Exactly.
But Pekko was definitely partly because you've been to this track. How many times? Would you like 20, 30 times?
Many times. And that's also people were like somewhere I heard people are saying that I would have some kind of like home advantage. Well, it was completely different again.
Yeah.
So not really that much advantage, and not
In the seating,
it's not
probably.
my home track. In the seating, no, it was still different than it has ever been. Like the
Well, yes,
whole
but you
feeling
know,
of the
the
grip,
left-hand
everything.
side was the same, and
It wasn't.
know.
It wasn't. It was slightly different, but yeah, similar. Let's say similar.
Yeah.
Okay, but not
Yeah.
like Buggy Land. Okay, but I mean, yes, for sure there was some kind of advantage, but like the advantage I got out could have been gained like in 1 weekend of practice, let's say. It wasn't
that
like
is
a
true. That is true.
huge advantage, let's say, and everyone can go there, spend money to go.
Of course.
We have been spending a lot of money to go there and practice, and it's not like I live at the track, so
Yeah.
definitely not my home track. But yeah,
But
I mean,
definitely.
I spent maybe 3-4 times there practicing, because we went before Euros last year to test, and also I think this track has been the biggest part of me getting better also, because we can do proper testing there, and that couldn't be possible in Finland. So also that's why we have been going there many times to make the car better, and for sure this time the car was flawless, electronics were flawless, everything was working really, really good. We didn't do that many changes for the car. We were just playing around with the tires.
Yeah. We have a whole rant about that, but I want to keep that to the end. We're gonna touch on the tires a bit, but let's keep the rant to the end. Okay, so that's about Pekko. Then the guy who actually won the warm up was Orlowski. And I'm going to include Kobovic as well here, because it was the Schumacher team. This was going to be the grand reveal or, showcase of them bringing their new car. Orlowski's won this race before, the Buggy Euros. He won the warm-up. What did you think, Pekko, after the warm-up? Did you think that the pace you guys were running at that event would be enough for Orlowski to challenge for the win? Not actually now taking into account what actually happened, but coming into the event, did you think he would be a competitor?
Yes, for sure. I felt like he would be, and the pace we were running was quite good, and also when after this event, when Ronafog came there for practice, and I went also, and the pace was similar, so I knew that the pace we were running at the race was good, and they can do good at the Euros also, but again the track caught them off guard, and the tires were not the best that they were running.
Yeah. Have you had it? Because of course you're a Schumacher driver as well, so you must talk to Orlowski, you must talk to Kobovic, probably some other guys as well in the team. So what was the vibe with the car? Would you say that it's now a finished off car? And was they like going into the event like we're gonna win it, or was they kind of like, yeah, we hadn't tested it enough or whatever?
I don't know. I think they were confident, but after the first practices, I think the confidence was lower, a bit lower. But yeah, I mean, they knew the car can drive, and for sure is not bad. But yeah, I think just the track caught them off guard a bit.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Joseph, have you had chance to look at the car? Is there your take on the car so far? Let's not talk about what happened at the Euros, but just like on just on face value, what do you think of it? Is it just another car, or is there actually something cool to
it? Well, I got a sneak peek at the Euros. They have a different kind of front end, which is sort of a pillow ball where you can adjust axle height and KPI. So so that's a good thing. And that's about it.
Yeah.
My mom said, if you have nothing good to say, don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
That's what my mom said also.
Yeah. So the
But
C-hub thing is good.
You rarely use
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I
You
should use
usually
it more
say
often.
everything.
All right. We'll keep it at
Probably the
that with
first
the
time you use
Schumacher.
that advice.
I think I've used it. No, maybe the first time actually.
Yeah.
Could be.
All right.
But also, X-Ray had new parts. They had the
Yeah.
same. They had a KPI. They can tune the KPI on the car, and they had new hubs and shorter rear arms.
Okay.
Also, you may
That
notice
was
my
also
name,
pretty big.
design influencer.
Yes.
This is my new role now. X-Ray also had some production-looking LCG stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I saw the LCG stuff on Hendrix and some of the old Finnish guy had them too. But I saw the LCG stuff on some people's cars. I thought it was somebody had just done it.
Yeah, but I think
those were their own made. But then Bartos had a X-Ray one.
Okay. So, I mean, Degani said this on Facebook that JQ has single-handedly destroyed the development of like so many brands by leading them astray. Would you agree with that, Joseph?
well, that's been my. I'm playing 5D chess, not even 4D, so it's part of the goal. Everything is going according to plan.
Also, we are. What is it? What is the brand Jörn is running?
WIRC.
Yeah, that one. He also had a laydown car. We were like, Jörn was sitting in front of JQ, and I saw Jörn going like in first practices. He was like top 3 or something. I was like wondering, because last time he was practicing, it wasn't that good, and I was like wondering how was he that good? And then I saw the car. I was like, oh yeah, I had this LCG on my car. It's quite good. Like looks like it.
Okay, so how many brands we have? Associated and Ongaro, they ran it, they tried it. Then we have S-Works, they have it.
Mugen, kinda.
Yeah, Kilic with the Mugen.
Also. S-Works.
X-Ray. Yeah, S-Works and X-Ray. And then we have WRC. So we're only missing. Damn, we aren't really missing anyone. Like
Kyosho has one. Oh, it's not
yes,
Kyosho, it's for Kyosho.
Yeah. Has any notable Kyosho driver run it? Do we
Based
know?
on results, they should have run it.
Yeah.
Barofalo tried it, I think. He was asking some advice at some point.
So, okay,
People
so
has
JQ,
been tried
your
them.
plan is working. I've made countless videos on this channel explaining it, and everybody always disagrees with me on the comments. But most of the things I've said have proved well how they work and why people run it and blah blah blah. And most people say, "Oh, it doesn't work like that," and so on. But so far, I think it's working the way it's looking like.
What's the disagreement?
Well, the disagreement is that the angle of the shock doesn't angle of the shock relative to the center of gravity or the car itself doesn't make a difference.
It makes a difference.
Yeah. I mean, people are not buying it. So
you have to think backwards. You have to think when the tire moves, it pushes on the car, right? So the suspension starts moving, but that force from the tire goes somewhere, goes through the shock to the chassis. So where and in what direction does that force try to move the chassis? So it does affect it.
Yeah. Here you have it. It's not only me. It's not just me who's saying this. It's the green-haired guy whose title is design influencer at the moment. So he's saying it too.
When I joined in the green room there, I heard you were talking about Noha, I think, right?
Yeah, we're talking about him.
So I think we are close to my favorite topic, taking accountability. I think we are very close to him not fulfilling his potential because of not having enough mirrors in the household. Not just him, but maybe his dad. And I think that that's really the main issue. Whatever happened, this or that, I think the main issue is there.
Hey, I'd imagine that to be the case. I wouldn't disagree with that.
But it's still there's time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's still young. I think he's like 16 or whatever. He's already fighting. He was second at the Euro main before he broke or whatever happened, flamed out. So yeah, it's not like he's not making the mains or not making the show. All right. I had a whole thing here planned, but we already went off script. A few more things was Karab didn't go to the Nitro Euros at all. He did decently at Neoland. So I was kind of iffy on coming into the event about his performance, and we're gonna talk about that. How he ended up. To be honest, I was not surprised. He's not taken each skill too seriously recently. But let's now move away from the pre-event, start talking about event itself. So let me bring up what the track looks like. We have some photos. Thanks to the hobby.ee. I believe this is the who did part of the coverage, at least. Same guys who did part of the coverage help RC Racing TV do their stuff. So, all right, Pekko, you probably know this place better than most of us, but just to preface it, sandy type of dirt, covered in oil, and has this incredibly grippy racing line. A tiny amount of dust, I'd say, but it also allows the car to slide really nicely. It's not like very edgy type of grip. Let me see if I can find some close-up pictures.
No, it was
of the
nothing
track
like you
where
just explained.
now it was different, yes, but that is how it usually is. So how was it at this event? Obviously, new layout, slightly changed.
Yeah,
So how was it
actually,
from Friday onwards? How did it
resurfaced
go?
from quite many places, so that made a biggest difference, I would say, because the weather before was quite bad, which blew up the track. Like I think it was 1 week before, so the oil couldn't really sink into the soil and make it like a more solid, let's say. So it actually became quite rough from some places and also quite dusty. So it took some time to lay the rubber down, and then they were also adding more oil after practice, and I think during the practice and after practice they oiled the track completely. So yeah, it was challenging conditions for everyone because it kept changing. But then qualifying and the finals were kind of similar. Just the last final were on rain conditions. So also because of that, it was a bit different. But yeah, I think the biggest problem was that just the oil wasn't in the soil that good, and brought up the dust on top, which caused that the rubber wasn't laying down on the track.
Yeah, so very tricky surface for a lot of guys. I have a video up here. Let's see if we can play it. This should be from the first A main, so this is already after they've laid down some new oil. I think they're relatively dry at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have back chicane, jumps, sort of an infield here. These sections were pretty good, and then once you go over the back, this seemed to be quite slippery and rough. Same way on the upper left side.
Yeah, I think this was the best layout that they have ever had on this track. So it was really, really.
It's pretty
nice
similar to what the previous.
Well, the left side was similar, but some key differences with.
Yeah,
the
it was pretty
jumps
similar
and,
to the previous ones, but slightly altered. I think they made some changes.
It was more higher from the left back also, but then the mid part and right side was completely new.
But yeah, track looked like that. Very difficult. Rain affected it. So they added oil during Friday.
Yes.
They also added it after Friday, right?
Yes.
So was the reason why the track was difficult on Saturday the reason, like, because they added oil, or was it because it rained overnight, or both?
I think it was more like both, but I think the rain affected more. I mean, if it would have been dry, then people would have known how it would be on the first qualifiers, let's say. So not 100% sure which made it harder for people, but yeah, I mean, oiling the track made a difference. I think the benefit would have been if it's not raining and the sun would have been shining in the morning, so it would have put the oil down faster into the soil. But also the problem at some points were when the sun was shining from the to the parts that were completely black, it was bringing the oil up on top of the track. So those parts came really slippery on some kind of tires.
Wow.
And
okay.
I think that's why the Pro Circuit was really, really good, because they were running like a super small pin tire, and the tire was, I think the diameter of the tire was quite big also. So I think that's why it had most consistent grip through the track, and it also had grip on this like parts of the track that there was a lot of oil on top. Because last time when we were practicing, when it was super oily, you would actually use a slick tire, which made the best grip.
Yeah.
So I think this small pin tire created kind of the similar effect, that it has more contact patch, and it's just gripped to the oil. And and I think the compound was the softest that they had. So also that.
Yeah, I think K1 is the one they used. So that is the super soft clay, I think, or ultra soft clay or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, the track was tricky. Layout was nice. Nothing too spectacular. We've shown this track before on the show. Yeah, now we should go look at some of the race results from practice and so on. So thank you for you guys watching, and thank you for also supporting our sponsors, which of next one is going to be ML Toys.
Are you looking to take your ride-on car to the next level? ML Toys makes it easy with plug-and-play modifications like motors, speed and brake controls, and more. ML Toys is the one-stop shop to make your ride-on car the coolest car in the neighborhood.
All right. Big thanks to ML Toys for supporting the show. If you need some ride-on vehicles, upgrades for your ride-on vehicles, that is, go out there, shop yourself some cool stuff, and yeah, start drifting in your front yard. All right. Seeding practice. We are sitting with the top seed at the European Championship. So, Pekko, you really seem to get something right in the first round of seeding. I looked at the lap times. I was following the race. It seemed like the track handled pretty standard on Friday. It was like getting a little bit faster, no big dips or jumps up. It didn't rain. It seemed to be like sun was shining the whole day. So what the hell happened in the first round of seeding for you? Because you went much faster than you had done all day.
Yeah, I mean, it was more also about the tires, because we were running clay tires before that, and they were actually not working that good. And then for the first seeding, I changed to a soft compound, which is a normal compound, not clay. And yeah, I mean, I think we kept the setups the same, and I was just driving around the track, and I was wondering that I'm catching everyone quite a lot in the lap, and I was like thinking that it cannot be that slow. And then I think I was catching Todd, and I saw that he was second on the board at that time, and I was like, okay, this cannot be bad. So I just kept driving, and it was a quite clean run. Car felt really good. Everything felt really good. And then I stopped. I just saw my lap times, and I was like, well, how did that happen? And yeah, I was I think Marcus got
Yeah, he was
second, and he
second.
was 3 tenths behind of me or something in 3 laps, and I was like quite impressed about it that I was so fast at that point. And yeah, I think also in the second seating I would have got 3 laps at the end, because also the track changed a bit for that also. So it was a bit more slippery, let's say, and I had to adapt. And then at the end, I was going to have a 3 good laps, but then there was one French guy driving the wrong way and hit me. And then yeah, couldn't get 3 laps in on that. But it could have been also quite fast one. But yeah,
Actually, you could have got, but you pulled off 1 lap early.
well, yes, I did that also. But I was trying to leave.
You had 2 laps, and then
lap,
you
but,
needed the
yeah,
last lap, and pulled off.
rookie error, and pulled off because there was many cars in front of me, and I thought they said that I'm also finished, but I wasn't. But yeah, it was the practice went really good, and yeah, I was already looking forward for the qualifying, but changed a bit.
Yeah. So, okay, I've been to this track once before. I know some of the history. So, first times you went to this track, you raced hot race. Let's say first 2 times you raced hot race. At some point, you guys figured out that hot race really wasn't the thing on all tracks like this. You can see that from like Montpellier; they've always struggled and so on. I saw a lot of guys running Sismic the time I went there. We started out with Sismic, but towards the end of the King of Estonia last year, everybody noticed that Ogro was the tire to run. So, what tire did you guys start out with? How did it develop? Like, I think there was running Ogo Clay Softs last time out, or we was running, I think it was running blue or purple Sismics. So what was the compound? Did you start out with Sismics or the Ogos? And what was the tires on Friday that you enjoyed the most?
Yeah, I mean, the first like all the practices I had done and testing was that Ogo was the fastest. So I started out with toast tires. Ogo, I think it's the pink compound, which is the clay compound. So that had been the best there, and well, on the first day it wasn't the best, and then we changed to hot race Sahara soft, and then that was apparently the fastest tire during that time.
Yeah, that is, to me, to hear that is quite wild, because I remember a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, actually, hot race we had Sahara and soft, Sahara and clay, whatever. That tire was 3 to 4 tenths slower. 3 to 4 tenths slower by lap. and now it's different. So that already tells me there's stuff that's very different from what was before. So okay, practice Pekko top seeds. Karup actually looked like the top guy over there in practice. So he was in second. Ronnefolk in third. The Scandinavians, Nordic countries looked to be really good out front. Joao, though, was already fast in fourth. Ongaro in fifth. Zalewski in sixth. And Orlowski, the winner of the warm-up, was 10th. So Canas and Polito were kind of the only guys. Seemed like S-Works drivers struggled a bit. Maybe J Concepts as well on Friday, because Borak was not that high up, and Canas outside the top 15, Polito outside the top 20. But yeah, Hot Race seemed to be the tire to run, as I just said. You ran Hot Race, Karup and Ronnefolk ran Hot Race. So Hot Race covered all of the top 3 on Friday. And then Joao and David Todd and the Pro Circuit guys already. Okay, we are going to have to take the rights to do these banners away from JQ because this is gonna get out of hand really quick. So yeah, what I was gonna say is seemed like pretty normal, on seating. Then let's move on to qualifying on Saturday morning. Noha Ben Mohamed takes his first ever TQ run. Okay, how do we take the rights from JQ away? Because this is getting out of hand. Okay, he must behave for a while now.
I think it's good. We can multitask. You can answer the question.
Yeah. We can just kick him out. We'll bring him back from the questions. No, he'll behave himself for, let's say, 30 minutes while we recap the race, and then we can go into all of the other stuff. But
30 minutes?
Yeah, basically.
We're not gonna have a 3-hour live.
So I'll be back in 30 minutes or what?
No, you can stay there if you want to.
No, you might rank the drivers.
We can't do that long. It'd be impossible.
We rank drivers in, I don't know, probably 30 minutes, to be honest.
Okay. Message me on WhatsApp.
Rank the drivers.
Well, we have to talk about all the drivers in the final. I got things to say.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's just talk about the people in the final.
Well, we got to recap the race. Not everybody had time to watch all of it.
I can leave and come back.
Okay. Goodbye, Joseph.
Okay.
We'll bring you back in a bit.
That will take too much time. Well,
okay.
Whatever.
We got rid of him. So qualifying, Noah takes TQ in round 1 and then just disappears. Like, he was nowhere to be seen after round 1. I think he got a 6th or something. That's his second best run. And even that was kind of on the edge if he got that. But Joao was the class of the field. So this is when the Pro Circuit tires started to come in. So it rained overnight. Yeah. I don't know what Noah did in Q1 to have that run. Joao was second.
I think he was running Matrix Nova or something.
So he was running. He was running not the thread, the sort of, what you call it, like low tread pattern. He was running the pin tire. No, it was. Yeah. And so I'm not entirely sure what Joao ran, but I know he said he switched to the kamikazes for round 2 and 3. And
and that's what I did also for round 2.
Yeah, round 2 you went to, so you started out with Hot Race in Q1, right?
Yes, Hot Race Sahara rain compound, that completely sucked. And then we changed midway through, we changed to Ogo Clay. And well, that was so, but not the best for sure. But lap times were fine.
Yeah. And then for Q2, you went to Pro Circuit, which obviously finished second in that one. Joao TQ'd Q2.
Those tires were
we had, very odd that they were so good, but
Yes, and the
So
funniest thing,
good
I
run for
ran the
them.
same tires then and also in the rain. And
Yeah,
during
yeah,
when it was raining, also had like a lot of grip. It was so weird. They were like, you can run the same tire, all the conditions, and it will be dialed. It's like
yeah,
it was crazy. I think only time it was lacking a bit was when we started sourcing the other tires.
yeah, yeah. So during this, there was not a whole bunch of sourcing. Q1, did anybody source?
Yeah,
Or people already
I
started that?
think the Matrix guys started sourcing the first at some point, yes, and then more people started figuring out something to put on the tires and try to find pace. Say,
Yeah, because Keaton, I don't know this myself, but Keaton keeps saying that Ongaro already sourced at the last Worlds in Redovan. Because Matrix had the largest or the highest tire, so they also had a lot of wear in hand, whereas J Concepts already was wearing down a lot, which Canas was running, who was his main competitor at the time. So basically, the scoop was that Ongaro had been sourcing already then. I can't confirm. Keating says that he saw it or knew about it firsthand. And I think that has been a thing with Matrix in general, that they have been sourcing their tires and having a big advantage with it. And I
yeah,
think when somebody starts sourcing, everybody has to source, because when it starts working, the gain is just so huge. So
yeah,
Matrix
and
guys
I
were
think
probably
like
sourcing.
all and also the rule almost makes you source because it's not illegal.
Yeah, of course. It's not illegal to source. It's not illegal to source at the worlds either. It's just like people generally don't tend to do it, and it feels like cheating, but it's
Yeah,
legal by the
yeah,
rules. It's legal by the rules.
yeah,
So yeah, Matrix guys. I'd imagine Noah and those guys already sourced in Q1, because I can't imagine
yeah,
them
yeah, yeah.
having
They were sourced.
such a good run without. And just full disclosure, in France they have oil tracks, a lot of oil tracks, so they probably knew
Yeah,
exactly what type of tire to run when it rains and there's a lot of oil, and that's why
yeah,
they had such a good run. Because let's be honest, Noha, a great run over the weekend, great driver, nothing like that, but he was definitely not on the pace to be a TQ. He was in pace to be like fifth, sixth in rounds, but he was never
yeah.
on a TQ pace except for that Q1. Okay, let's move on from that. So after people start sourcing in Q2, you sourced the pro circuits too, right?
No,
No.
all the guys who were running pro circuits they did not source. The tire
Okay.
was working naturally. That was
Wow.
impressive.
Okay. So that is actually very impressive. So Matrix started
Yes,
sourcing, then everybody started sourcing except for Pro Circuit, basically.
yes, yes.
And even
Because
if you
also I
sourced
think
it,
the sauce wouldn't work on that tire because it was already so soft. I think most of the
that
tire
is,
brands,
yeah.
the sauce made the compound a bit softer, which made it work more. And also the thing was to keep away the oil from the track to getting stuck to the tire, let's say, and the dust getting stuck to that. So that was also a problem, which helped when you sauce the tires.
Okay, that is interesting. Well, basically from Q2 onwards, it was all the TKs were taken with Pro Circuit. So Joao in Q2, David Todd in Q3, which was a surprise. He was another guy who kind of came out of nowhere with the TQ run, but at least he was still competitive in the finals, finishing third in the last leg. Big part of that was because he was running Pro Circuit. He knew that tire. He was running, of course, as well. And you had a second in Q2. What happened in Q3 and four? Just did not have a good run, or some
Just
difficulties there.
wrong tire. I mean, Q2, Q3, I had a clean run. Just one French guy trying to race me. I don't know why. So that slowed me down a bit, but I still managed to get a result, but it was, I think, P13 or something. So it wasn't sure that if I'm gonna make a final with that. And then for Q4, again, a wrong tire choice, and yeah.
Well, what did you
was
run
just
then?
lacking pace.
Why did you why did you switch from
on
Pro
the third
Circuit?
one? I ran the Pro Circuit, but with one harder compound, and it was impossible for me to drive with that because it was just I was lacking so much grip, or like lacking forward traction and side bite. So overall grip just wasn't good with those, and then should have gone with the same tire from Q2, but then we choose to go with the Ogo, and that didn't work either. So yeah.
You should have just ran what the Pro Circuit guys did.
Well,
They
they
seem to
said
have it in.
to us that they ran the K1, and I was running K0, so the softer one, and then I put the K1, and it was impossible to drive. So should have gone with the K0, and
Okay.
also didn't know what Berkan was running, because he was also running those pro circuits in qualifying. So I went to ask them, but they said that they don't know what tire is on their car. So didn't get the answer from them. So then after qualifying, they said that, oh, you should have run the softer, but didn't help at that point anymore. So yeah.
So a little bit
help.
of
So also this made it hard to make the decision for us, and now looking back to it, we should have done the decision already in Q3 when JQ tested those one step harder tires, because his car looked just that it had less grip, but he said that it should be fine, but wasn't. So yeah, that was unfortunate, let's say, because then I had to start at 12th. So even though if I would have had no problems in the Q3 with the French guy, I think I could have got like a P7 or P6, but I lost some time in that on track battle, let's say. So that didn't help.
Yeah, I feel like there's a great point for a tangent here, what you just said. This is exactly why it sucks so bad when it becomes a tire race. Because it's like, okay, people don't necessarily lie, but they lead you on to do something else that kind of doesn't help you. I mean, I know for a fact that people have lied on what tire they run. Like you gave an example of Berkan. You don't know what tires you're running. Come on, of course you know.
Yes.
But at the same time, you're a
I
racing
mean, Berkan
team, so
didn't
why
say
does
that.
it?
His dad and brother said that when I went to ask.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
said
Okay.
that,
Sure. Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe Berkan himself would have known and told you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're a racer, why would you have to tell that? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't
That's
know.
True.
Yeah, it's not like a shade to him, but this is just what it becomes when it's a tire race like this, tire gamble like this.
Yeah,
it becomes impossible.
And
also,
also Joao and David Todd, they were running a different pattern of this kamikaze. It was like a newer tread, but similar.
Yeah, I saw that. I did see
different tread. It wasn't exactly the
yeah.
kamikaze.
Yeah, so it was a prototype tire. I saw pictures of it. They wasn't like up close. It was like on the car. It was stationary in the car, so I could see that it was different, but I couldn't make out what it was. To me, it looked a bit more like a hybrid between a low tread tire and like the side of it was kind of like what you have on the Overdose, I think, on the J Concept Overdose. It was like really tight tread pattern, and then the center you had the that high pin, if I'm not wrong. But Yeah, basically a hybrid tire of thread and that. So that's obviously not even available to guys who are not team guys, which gave Joao and David both a huge advantage. But I do think David only ran the Kamikaze, right? Joao was the only one running the prototype one.
No, I think Todd was also running those new tires.
Okay, because I saw some pictures where he was running just the regular one, and then Joao was running the.
I'm not 100% sure, but at least when I want to ask for those prototype ones, they did not have. They said that they need to give for the team drivers. So I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just a great example of why on the podcast we keep talking about spec tire. And yes, we're gonna go onto all of that when JQ comes back on the show and rant about this. But it's like such a nasty game. It's not solved on the track. It's solved outside of the track. There's a lot of politics involved. There's a lot of knowledge behind the scenes involved. Some lying involved as well. And it just it's just like you can't trust anyone. And the way I've handled these situations in my racing is just go with what worked before. Like, for example, in your situation where you did that thing in Q3, had you just run the tire that worked before, the worst possible thing would be that the track changed. But if the track didn't change enough, it will work. It worked before, it will work in the future. So like when you do something that worked before, it's like it should at least be decent, and that is probably like the game plan that people should have. And I feel like drivers like Ongaro are really good at this because they have a really tight-knit team around him. Like, I know people at Matrix probably help Ongaro, but I bet Ongaro doesn't help anyone at Matrix at the same level of knowledge. Like, the knowledge goes upward. And, of course, Ongaro helps people. But, like, when it's a tight situation, is Ongaro going to give Polito the same information that Matrix is going to give Ongaro or Matrix is going to give Polito? Because Ongaro is the number one guy, even intra-team, there's going to be battles like that. It's just really messy. This is just what Pekko just said on his behalf. Just a great example of how difficult it is. And you could see it from Hendrik Leinema, who's actually the guy, he works at this track. He drives these tracks pretty much every day. Even he was struggling because he's never been in this situation where the track was new, the track was oiled, it had been raining, people started exhausting. So even you could see from his qualifying that some rounds he did good, some rounds he did not do that good. And that's probably most of the tire, not necessarily that he had a bad run or whatever. Okay, tangent over. Let's get back to wrapping up the qualifying. So David Todd, that's TQ in Q3, and Jaw wraps it up in Q3. Berkan, as you said, was running the pro circuits, so he was on pace. He's running VP Pro as his sponsor, but I believe they have some room there to run other brands because he's not the first time. Whereas Burak was strictly J Concepts.
I think he was then in the final, first and second final, he was running VP. So
yes. So he was kind of splitting between different stuff. And he was fast with the VP tires too. He won A2. So it's not like the tires were bad. Just it's the, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Exactly.
Ongaro in fourth. Really quiet, but probably struggling with the tires. If you look at Jonas' post, we're going to look at that later. He said Matrix guys were really struggling bad, except for that Q1 where Noha had that stellar run out of nowhere. David Todd in fifth. Burak found pace in the end. I think with J Concepts, the sourcing really helps them. They've always been really good once you start sourcing in America. So Burak with a 6th and a 3rd in the last two. Adrian Perente running Sismic in 7th. Mattia Polito in 8th with the Matrix as well. Runafog with Hot Race. Similar story with the Hot Race guys as well. So they started out slow and found the right source, and then it came together with Runafog 5th and 6th in the last two. Daniel Perente in 10th. Canas similar story to Burak, but he just didn't get the second to last round together. He was fourth in Q4, just scraped in front of Pekko in 12th.
Yep.
I think the BQ, probably the biggest surprise, if you followed seeding, was Karup in as a BQ. Luckily for him, they had bump ups at this race, so he was able to bump up from the last chance to the main, starting 13th. Same as any other guy. He was 14th in round 1, 17th in round 2, and then a third. So that's all about getting the sauce together. I don't know what happened in Q4. Maybe wrong tire, maybe had a mistake. I didn't look it up.
No, he was super fast, but then he had a mistake.
Okay, so see, like when it's like this, you gotta make the rounds count. A few, I guess non-honorable mentions. Drivers out of place. Kobevic in 24th with the new Schumacher, J Concept rubber. Orlowski with hot race rubber and the new Schumacher in 33rd. So winning the warm-up to 33rd in qualifying, that must have been a tough one for him. And a few talking points was weather played a role. The track first being wet, the oil sinking in, track drying, oil climbing up. That played a role. And then, of course, when you start sourcing, the grip line changes. There's different type of rubber, different type of oils down there. So things change. So that was probably the biggest talking point of qualifying. It was all about tires. All about tires.
Exactly.
Okay, so then the finals. I think the tire games kind of died down a bit in the finals. I think people figured out what to run, apart from A3, of course.
I agree.
Yeah. So, looking at the first final, we had Joao staying in control. Birkin making a mistake in the beginning with Ronnefolk, climbing all the way up. So this was let's say, most boring of the 3 finals. And I think kind of Joao looked like he was in control all the way through. Karup came to 6th and Noha fell back. But I wanted to talk a bit about your final because I was following you what little bit I could from the stream because there was the fight up front. You seem to be in a really good chance to get a 5th from there. You was tailing Burak on the last lap, and then even Karup got by. So what happened there? How was your A1? You was running Pro Circuit at the time, right?
Yeah, in the first final, I ran Pro Circuit. Everything felt super good. I was able to climb up to 6th and catching Burak. But then, oh no, I was running the Ogo with the sauce, the first one.
Oh,
because I did
okay.
the best lap on that final. Yes, so that was the first run with sauce tire. So it was kind of unknown what I'm going for because also didn't have a proper practice lap before, so didn't really know how it's gonna go. But then immediately from the start, I felt that now this really works, and I'm quite fast. And then I think at the start, yes, again I fell back. I think I was last after the first lap, so that was a bit unfortunate again. But then I climbed up quite a lot, and then I was battling with Burak, and then he was I think he was backing off a bit, so I also got off from the rhythm I had, so I think I touched the dust a bit or something like that, so that also was affecting the grip level. So the last 2 corners, it was super slippery, and then Marcus was behind of me, and actually he made a nice pass to the line. He went just full throttle and jumped over me to the line. I would say it's similar that Ronnefolk did at Neo to Tesman.
Yeah.
It was a similar move, let's say, and he just beat me on the line. So that was a bit unfortunate, but it was a good climb for me, the first one.
Okay, so basically what happened was Pro Circuit was the number one tire. Then everyone found that sourcing works. And I'm just looking at the lap times, and you could see like Ronfolk has a fast lap Kerup has a fast lap of 32.2. You have a 32.0, which was the fastest lap of all of them in the main.
That was the first lap of the race.
Yeah. So, even you run the same tire in A2 as well?
Yes, and then it happened that it was too soft after sourcing it again. So I started feeling like I was lacking forward traction because the tire got too soft. So, learned something new again. But also I got super unlucky every time when someone crashed. I would have had, again, a good climb up in the order, but every time someone crashed in front of me or hit a pipe or something, I got caught also. So it was a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, but just by looking at the lap times, like it's funny, like even though Figueiredo won the race and was starting out front, his best lap is actually, you had a best lap of 32.5. His best lap was 32.8. And then if we go into the fastest guy, we had Marcus Kerup with a 32.2 and Canas with a 32.3. So it really shows that after the tire game started, the order changed completely in the finals. So once the J Concepts guys found that they can source the tires and how they should source the tires, same with the hot race and you. So it changed.
The funny thing was also that Ronnefolk had the same feeling as me, that the tire became too soft. They're sourcing another time for them. So everybody was learning, let's say.
Yeah. So in A2, this was probably, if you want to watch a great fight from this race, A2 is probably the best one to watch. A3 was great as well. Go check that out. But A2 was really tight. There was there was Ongaro was there in a while. Kilic was there for a while. Joao was leading, and then Joao made the dire mistake of jumping into the pipe and broke, which allowed Brekan to take the win.
In the car. That was
it looked like an A-arm, so it was crazy. But it was not that big of a hit, but it seemed like an A-arm.
No, it wasn't. I was surprised that the tank fell apart.
Yeah. So Kilic wins the second one, and we're gonna go into A3 with both having a win, Joao with a better time. So basically, it's between Kilic and Joao. Who's gonna win it, and
also Ongaro could have won it.
Yeah, but it started raining, then, so
30 minutes before all that disappeared, all that hope disappeared.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ongaro seemed to have better pace in A2, and he already had, a decent run in A1 if it wasn't for that crash at the end. So in A3, technically, yes, Ongaro could have won, but then that rain, made all of those wishes disappear because he would have had to win with a better time, which was obviously impossible in the rain. So just to, build this picture, you have A1 and A2 in beautiful sunny weather in Estonia. You have guys sourcing their tires, low thread pattern, running Saharas or the Oko Chesties. And then you have, even the Pro Circuit guys were running I-bars or the new prototype tire we just spoke of. Apparently not sourcing. I don't know if I believe that, but apparently not sourcing.
No, they were not. They were not because we have a proof also, actually, because there was a Mr. Carlos Gomez with his sourcing machine.
Sniffer.
With sourcing sniffer, let's say. And the funny story about it is that, we had all our cars under the pit, under the driver's stand, and immediately when he put that thing on, started beeping because all the sauce smells in the air. So it already started beeping on that. But then I don't know what he did. He was doing something with the machine, and then he got it to work. And then he checked actually everyone's tires, and someone said at the pit that he was looking at the numbers, and Joao's and David's car was showing 0, and everybody else had some number in there. So it was true.
So that's good to know. Actually, we have proof that the Pro Circuit guys did not saw us. So in A2 and A1, we have people sourcing the guys who were slow in qualifying getting fast. We move into A3, and it seems like things are going the same way. Hot race guys, Matrix guys, Jacobs guys, all of them are back. They're back in the game. They have a chance to win. And then I don't know what happened to Sismic. We'll just skip that for a while now. The Pro Circuit guys are sweating, Kilic was running VB Pro. I forgot that. They're sweating. Is it gonna be Kilic who wins it after all the domination in qualifying?
Oh, also Berkan was not sourcing the VB Pro tires. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least that's what they said. Not
100%
data on that, but that's what they said.
Anyway, 30 minutes during the C main, it starts to freaking rain. Everything changes. I think came down. I saw some pictures. It came down pretty damn bad. There was puddles on the track.
There was actually quite a lot of rain. Yeah.
Yeah, and then everything is thrown out the window. Kerup and Ronafark are just spinning on the track, doing nothing. They was like their fastest lap was like, let me double check. Everybody else was doing like not similar lap times, but like 33s. And then Kerup and Ongaro was a second off the pace. So everybody else was doing 33, low 33, 33.5s. Kerup and Ronafark was running hot race. They went down to 34.5s, a second off the pace. Similar story to J Concepts guys, no pace whatsoever. Ongaro somehow managed to be competitive, but I'd imagine his tires weren't that good either. You, on the other hand, you was running Pro Circuit again. Berkan went to Pro Circuit, and David Todd went to Pro Circuit. So
I'm not 100% sure did Berkan go Pro Circuit or sweep or something like that. Not 100% sure.
Okay, but he definitely wasn't running the same tires he ran before. Yeah, because I saw a picture of his car, and it looked like a Pro Circuit, but it's obviously hard to tell. So Ongaro and Adrian Periente were the only ones not running Pro Circuit. Well, let's put Berkan as an asterisk here on now in the top 6, because I think Adrian was running the Magma. That's usually what the Sismic guys go for when it's raining. But that being said, it was still a damn good race.
And actually, I think the track was slightly drying for us, and I don't know how much people changed their cars. We kept our car the same, just changed the tires, and it was working brilliant. But I mean, I know that Ronafark did some changes for his car, and I don't know. I saw Joao wrenching also before, so maybe he changed a bit also. But yeah, I mean, when you have the right tire, you don't really have to change your car either. So it was crazy how much grip those Pro Circuit tires had, and funny thing was that also my tire came unglued because the tire is super soft, and it's ballooning a lot down the straight, and we ran quite many runs with those tires, so it was hard to keep them on the wheels also.
It ripped unglued, or it came unglued?
Yeah, it ripped unglued.
Yeah. That is what happens. I think the Ogos had similar issue, but there was the sidewall that ripped.
That was the lip of the tire, not the side. So but that was so I ran a bit more carefully the last couple of minutes, but still managed to catch Pariente, and he crashed, and then I got the place also, so it was good.
But Joao and Berkan, they had a great fight. Joao obviously started up front. Berkan got by, I think, the second lap or something. Joao overtook him back straight after that. It was pretty clear that Joao was faster, but it was also pretty clear that he absolutely don't want to crash. So Berkan was pushing like his life depended on it, and Joao was just kind of like driving around. Berkan made a mistake, and he was catching Joao like a tenth every lap for 8 minutes of the race. And for the last 2 laps, it was ridiculously close. It almost looked like Berkan could pull a pass, but then he came down the last lap and he crashed in the back. But I was definitely biting my nails watching that final, so definitely go check it out. Joao kept it on his wheels, kept it in control, had a slight bit of pace to keep in front of him, came out in front. Berkan with a well-deserved second place finish at the Euros. Ongaro in A3 just somehow comes up with a fourth to make it onto the podium in third. And then Adrian and Pekko, you get a good run in Q3, in A3. And as we said, hot race guys really struggle. Same with J Concepts guys, to be honest. That seems to be the wet oil track seems to be the kryptonite of these guys at the moment. We should probably invite JQ back. So you should send him a message to tell him to come back to the studio, because we're going to be starting recapping the final. So yeah, big result for Joao. Really happy for him.
Yeah, and I think everyone at the race after they saw that Joao won was happy. So it was also cool. Everyone was really happy for him, and I was also really happy to see him win. And it was cool. He has been chasing that for a long time, and it was nice to see him to put it together and get the win.
I feel like Joao is one of those guys who's he's always been there, but never at the top. Like similar to what Polito was like a year ago, he's been his whole career, and Polito has broken through this year. Kind of seems like Joao might do that with this win here. Maybe gives him a slight bit of confidence. Good job for Joao. I'm really happy for him. He's one of those guys who I rarely hear anybody complain about him. He's really he's really clean on track. I've never heard him or seen him take people out too much.
I agree.
He's one of the most positive, nicest guys. Him and his dad have one of the most beautiful facilities in all of Europe. Hosted plenty of races. They're perfect hosts to host a race. Nothing bad to say about Joao, and
exactly.
Before Joseph comes on, I just want to say to the people in the chat and so on, you and him, like, you have this hate for Tekno, deep hate for Tekno. Okay, I used to talk shit about Tekno. I used to say that their design is this and that and so on. But in the recent years, I have seen potential. Since Mayfield joined, I think they've taken a direction which they're looking for performance, like pure performance. And I think Mayfield's proven that with countless wins in the States, still struggling in Europe. Joao has made it work at Redovon. He's made some finals here and there. It looked really difficult at the Buggy Worlds last time out. Yes, Joao had the right tires, right place, right time. But the car must have worked pretty good too. It had to be somewhat decent. And what makes it even more spectacular is he was not even running a saddle. I'd say every single car in that main was running a saddle design. I can't think of any other car there was. So there was. Let's actually confirm this before I go forward. So
Yeah,
there was.
I don't think so. But yeah,
Yeah,
I would agree.
everybody
Like
everybody
I was,
ran a saddle except for Joao.
yeah, I was surprised how good, like really how good the car worked there. And well, you can say I'm a big hater, but in my mind, I'm not. Just like the joke about it, and everybody knows that the car should be like a tank, so that's why I said it was a surprise that it fell apart. But yeah, I mean, I was really surprised how good the car was, and guess I also see that they have been working a lot on it, because definitely this car looks a bit different than they run in US, and in US the car is really really good. So I mean, they have really done progress.
Yeah, actually, Kilic might have been running the old design as well, because I know he runs, and somebody commented as well that he runs
Oh yeah, full size.
full size.
Yeah, could be.
But they also fit on the saddle car, so it
Yeah.
could be that he was running the saddle. But I'm not sure. Maybe
Not sure.
maybe he was running that. But either way, yeah. I mean, the Tekno has taken a little bit of a different direction with the front end. They've introduced some KPI. They've made the scrub radius even smaller than it is. They've finally given up on the incredibly narrow pivot in the rear. So they have a wider pivot in the rear. They're running the shorter arms. They're running, wider pivot, shorter arms, the hub designed. And then the last sort of key piece of the Tekno, which was the tractor shocks. They've gone away from those. So for the Worlds before, they went to a shorter one. And then the Worlds last year at the eBuggy Worlds, they went to an even shorter one. And I'm not sure if what the ones Joao is running, but they look to be even shorter than the ones they had before. It could be their
I would
stock
agree.
short
Yeah,
options.
I think so too.
So I think he's running because why is JQ's taking control of the show? What the hell? We're talking. We're
you know what?
racing Tekno,
You know what?
and you come on
Before
here.
he opens his mouth, it was a paid win, because John Deere was sponsoring the event.
This is true. This is true. That's why they ordered the rain, because they saw that the advantage was in the wet. So they needed to make sure that Joao wins the last main. But anyway, before you continue with your nonsense, I'd like to add a couple of things. Well, firstly, as you saw that ticker scroll by back in Redovan, I told these guys these things. Mayfield bought a book, and in return I needed to tell him how to fix his car at the Worlds. So I told him. And looks like finally after 4 years they've made a few changes in that direction. So less travel, wider pivots, this kind of stuff. KPI, all good things. But having said that, I think that Joao has had the speed and he has the skills to already have won a European Championship or maybe a Worlds. I can't think if he's been really fast at the Worlds, but at least the Euros. But he tends to make mistakes. He's his own worst enemy, I would say. Now you can say that he had an advantage with the tires and weather conditions that suited him a lot, because the Tekno is good on loose tracks. So they're loose or inconsistent tracks. And that's kind of what this was for the most part. It wasn't really high grip and like we expected it to be. And then the tires he was using, they are really big and have a flexible pin and a high sidewall. So they flexed a lot, which makes for an even more forgiving car. And they had the most consistent traction around the whole track, and the compound worked. The compound worked on the oil, on the more natural dirt surfaces, in the damp, whatever it was, it always worked. So tires was definitely a big advantage at this race. And thankfully this time he took advantage of that advantage. He almost threw it away. If you watch the last main, Joao did Joao things, but maybe thanks to those forgiving tires, he didn't flip over. So a well-deserved win in perfect conditions for his equipment.
So, do you think are you giving Tekno their flowers?
No, I'm not. I'm giving Joao flowers because he's an awesome driver, and Tekno got lucky because it rained, and also because Joao runs Pro Circuit. They didn't figure out anything new or do anything special. They basically went back to more normal stuff instead of their wacky stuff.
What is the wacky stuff?
Well, that super narrow pivot that is too far left field.
Yeah. So what you mean is
truggy shock travel and all that stuff.
Yeah, but I mean that has been kind of the thing that. Yeah, that's been like a concept that we've all of us have said, but especially me and you, JQ, has said that it's gonna work sometimes, and it did. Like Van Dalen, TQ, DNC, and won Silver State back in the day, TQ Silver State back in the day, but all of those big wins, and Barufalo won Silver State for them, but all of those big, wins at, on the East Coast especially, it's kind of always went away from them until they went with Mayfield, and you saw really quickly that things started changing. They had to divert, but at the same time, I think it's I want to say this because I think Tekno and JQ are a very similar, like JQ Racing and Tekno. They were a very similar type of thing. You started out with wacky stuff, like the low C stuff, and you found your own way. You didn't straight up copy a Kyosho or a Mugen like a lot of the other brands did. And then they slowly but surely found their way into the right direction. Did Tekno do all of that, homework and technical stuff? And do they believe in roll centers and whatnot? Whatever you say, maybe not. But at the same time, Mayfield wasn't that far off at the World's warm-up. Joao straight up won this race. I think, yes, the conditions were good for him, but Joao is not like an Ongaro. And they have the wide pivot in the rear. They have the KPI in the front. The car is becoming more together. They might even have shorter shocks in the car in general. And it seems to be suiting them. So I don't know. I'm seeing progress, and I'm giving them their flowers. I think it was a deserved win for Tekno. And I mean, this is gonna hurt JQ, but Mayako and Tekno are 1-1 for European Championships. So you're tied now.
Yeah, I mean, there are similarities, but there's also some really key differences. For example, some years ago, I asked the owner, Daniel Lewis, if he had my book. And he said no, because they have their own program. And after questioning that a bit, it became obvious that it's a bit like speaking with a flat earther, Like some things are just true and real, and if you don't believe in it, then there's no point in trying to convince someone like that. And that's why I can't give them their flowers, because they don't believe in basic stuff that's real. Okay, and now based on team driver feedback and this and that, they're just moving to something that should be sort of a normal base instead of actually developing something that's better. So that's why I give Joao flowers. But not them.
Hey,
it's kind of like a Gamma. They made a LCG, low center of gravity car, where they put the shocks on top of the gearbox. Okay.
Hey,
It
We're
looks
just
different,
lashing
but
out now, Joseph.
no.
We're just lashing out now with unnecessary anger, borderline violence. Okay. I'm gonna mute you for a while. Clearly, JQ doesn't want to give up his flowers yet. But I'm gonna give it
But
to
you know
Tekno.
where we should give our flowers
You won
to?
your first European Championship. Congrats to you guys. And you can call them flat earthers. Maybe you're right. I'm not gonna say anything, but hey, maybe they'll find their way. Maybe they'll find their way in something good. It's not, you know. I saw this flat earther documentary where this guy accidentally proved that the Earth was round, and I think after that documentary, he says that the Earth is no more flat. So people can change. Maybe Daniel Lewis, as you said, believes in science these days, and it's proving correct. I don't give a shit about that. I look at the results. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. But you know where we
Let's
should
move
give our
forwards.
flowers
Let's
to?
move forwards. Okay.
Yes.
Give your flowers,
And,
Pekko.
biggest flowers to RC Rakvere.
RC Rakvere.
What an event! The best
Rakvere.
event of I think I have ever been. Like if we're looking at Euros or Worlds, this for sure was the best event, and everything was working. There was nothing to complain that something is not working. Toilets were clean.
Not always the case at the Euros.
Everything-
I gotta tell you.
Yeah,
I've seen some shit
not
stains in the
some
walls.
monkey weird. Yes, not some monkey weird action in the toilets. So also everything was organized perfectly. There was a room for your cars and everything to go, and the cars were next to the track, so no need to walk a lot. There was a huge tent for all the racers, which was cool. So everybody was pitting in the same space. And track was amazing. Driver stand, everything worked flawless, let's say. And watching the live broadcast was also really, really amazing. That was actually mostly done by the Estonian TV producers or something like that. Yeah. So there was I think 3 moving cameras and even a drone. So watching that live was actually pretty cool to see. And they had this huge screen on the track. You can see the lap times immediately after the run. And yeah, I mean, great event. And I think hopefully people learned from this. Has been hosting some of these events, and you can clearly see that they didn't took this as granted. They really put effort on this, and they really felt special to have this race. Because in my opinion, most of the times when the race is somewhere in south, they're just thinking that they want this race here because we're the best and we can do whatever we want. And usually that turns out to be quite bad, and then there is a lot of problems and lacking from the side of the organizers, let's say.
Yeah, I have a perfect example for this, by the way. It was the AGM of, I think it was the AGM of 2024. No, in 2020, yes, 2024. I proposed that Buggy Euros would have bump ups. The practice we always had the practice final, and you would bump up from the practice final. For years we had done it from the B, but not from any other final. And I proposed that every single final has a bump up. Well, no, just take it away. I proposed it to Efra. I told to you that I proposed it to Efra. And I had done it before you said it. Okay, JQ, let's hide this. And 2025 Euros come. We don't have it. It's in the rule book, but we still don't have it at the race. Why the fuck don't we have it at the race? No, I'm not lying about this. We should take the rights of JQ to do stuff like this away from the show. Okay. So why the hell don't we have it at the Euros after it's been approved the rulebook? And this is the reason of somebody probably in the race direction said, "Oh, we can't do it. We don't give a shit," and it didn't happen. And
Yeah.
there's a similar story about running 3 finals for the mains for the 10 scale Euros. It was approved at the AGM last year that there would be 3 finals ran for every single leg of the finals in the 10 scale Euros. And going into the event, there has been messages from EFRA that they're not going to do it. They're just not going to do it. So I find this like really appalling on sort of the classic way of running a lot of the EFRA races has been that there's few people who are not even, I'm not even talking about Carlos or the chairman or whatever. I'm talking about the people who hold these races and they want to do things their way. They go to the AGM and they say, "Oh, we're so democratic, we're so democratic." And then the race actually happened and they have so many issues. Be it about the fucking tire size, be it about the format like this. And then when you have an organizer who's humble, hosting one of their first races, they don't have this ego, rules are rules, blah, 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 bullshit that we know from before. They're just happy to fucking host the European Championships. They're proud to host the European Championships.
Yes.
They follow the rules and they do things properly. And
Exactly.
I think
you can clearly see that and feel that when you're there.
And I bet
like,
every single one who
completely
went to these Euros in Estonia, I myself wasn't able to go to this Euros, so I can't say how good it was. But I can tell you from past experience that, for example, the Euros in Eskilstuna were phenomenal. And why was it? Because the rule book was followed and things were done the proper way, except for one incident, which was 100% down to one person, which was the marshalling incident, which we talked about on the show before. But from organizing point of view, there seems to be a big divide in some parts of the people who host these races and the others who host these races. And I think from what you said, I'm not at all surprised because I've been to races here before in Rakvere, and they're not trying to do anything special. They don't have a huge ego. They're trying to do the best they can, and they follow the rules and what people want. And it's good. It's good.
Yeah, that's for sure. And like, let's say most of the times, like Nitro Euros, they feel like super long because they are like for a week. But I think on a place like this, it would feel less super long, let's say, because it's enjoyable to be there. Not like every day you need to fight with these issues. Yeah, you need to go to the toilet. Yeah, that's amazing. You're going to the toilet, which smells super bad, and probably someone has shitted on the ring of the
no toilet paper
toilet or whatever. So there,
no,
you just
wait.
To a clean toilet.
There is no ring.
Bad.
There's not even a ring on the toilet.
Oh yeah,
no toilet
or that.
paper.
So it would be so much enjoyable to be in a place like this. And actually in Rakvere, everything was super close, like the hotels and everything. It's just 2-3 kilometers away. You just live in that small town the whole week, and it's perfect.
Yeah. I mean, to some extent, I do think all of the clubs preparing the venue and so on do their best. But then I think, these people don't cut corners. When you host a European Championship, you shouldn't cut corners. And Rakvere didn't win any of the European Champions at the last AGM. The venues we're going to go to are going to be probably a little bit worse, than what this is. And I do feel bad about that. And I'm really happy they have this one because I think it's going to open a lot of people's eyes when they see things done properly.
Yeah.
So good job to Rakvere. All right. let's now go to listing of the drivers. I'm gonna do an ad read. We're gonna rank them into winners and losers. Jake is gonna do his thing. He had some stuff prepared, I suppose. We're gonna have our talking points, and then we're gonna end it with our rant. Let's not try to go too long. Let's try to keep it within an hour, okay? But I can't promise us viewers. If your mother says she's bored right now, please tell them to come watch the podcast with you, because this is going to be probably the best 1 hour of her life.
What's your rant?
It's our rant. It's about sourcing.
Sourcing. Oh yeah, I can do that. I have a shorter rant before that.
Okay.
But we can't go too long. And then we need to still pack.
Yeah. We have 45 minutes.
Yeah. All right. So wait, I'm hearing an echo. Let me Okay. Winners, losers, and gossip is brought to you by Sidewinder Fuels. Morgan Fuel has been collaborating with many of the world's top drivers for already 35 years. This has enabled us to test our fuels in many of the most challenging situations and take the development of competition fuels to the next level. The result is Sidewinder, the market's most powerful racing fuel. This fuel is track tested and proven by national world champions, including Ryan Cavalieri, Ryan Mayfield, Greg Degani, Mark Pavidis, Phil Longwen, and many more. These drivers appreciate that Sidewinder is blended perfectly for the high performance needs of competitive racing. Don't let victory slip through your fingers. Purchase Sidewinder today. Thank you, Sidewinder, for sponsoring the podcast. I remember when I was a little boy, JQ, the man with the green hair, was running Sidewinder Fuels, and I really liked their logo. And then I started running Sidewinder Fuels at some point, and we ran them together with JQ. And then our engine supplier at the time told us our engines don't run because we run the wrong fuel. And then we switched the fuel, and they still didn't run. So it wasn't Sidewinder. Sidewinder is actually really good. And thank you for Sidewinder sponsoring the podcast. If you don't have Sidewinder Fuels in your garage right now, what the hell are you doing? Let's move into the recap again. So did you have something planned, Joseph, or did we just go by one? We already talked about Joao. You gave him your flowers. We gave him our flowers. We said everybody loves him. He has a beautiful smile, and he's a nice young man that can't be hated.
I don't have anything planned, but you should start with 13th place.
We go from back to front?
Yeah, because no one cares about them anyway. So then you start with them, and then you end with the people that people actually care about.
Yeah, we do it the other way with Keenan, but
yeah,
now
because that Keenan doesn't think. That's why.
Hey, Keenan told me that I wasn't allowed to let you diss him too much. So
okay, that's all then. Maybe one more later.
Well, you have one more, okay, but nothing to do with his left hand, okay.
Okay.
So back of the main, Mattia Polito. I'd say this was 99% down to the tires and 1% down to S-Works wasn't doing too well at this race, and 0% down to Mattia Polito sucking too bad. What do you think? Do you have other opinions about this?
Actually, I don't have anything to say. I mean, he was pretty invisible.
He's always pretty invisible.
In qualifying, he did okay, and then I don't know why he wasn't better in the mains.
Did you see him on the track, Pekko?
A couple times when I passed him, but yeah, he wasn't having a good time in the finals, I think.
Yeah, so nothing to say about Mattia. Coming of a Euros DQ, bad luck in the semi, and then lost in the main at the Buggy Euros. To be honest, he's always been better in Nitro, so it's an off event for him. Daniel Pariente in 12th.
Well, Daniel Pariente is upholding Spain's reputation as the biggest hacks in Europe.
wait. We're talking about Daniel now.
Yeah,
Yes.
You
Correct.
said hacks.
hacks. Yeah, he's a hack, dirty driver. He's like
What about
CTO.
his little brother?
Maybe we need to rename it DTO or
DTO?
PTO.
Down
But
to
no, it has to be DTO because I think Adrian is maybe a cleaner driver. I haven't.
But
actually,
you've always liked him for
Agreed.
some reason. I remember when he was a tiny little boy, you said he's gonna be good.
that sounds really offensive to me. The way you phrased that. Anyway, so I mean, Daniel is a good driver, but it's just he doesn't either have the. I refuse to believe he doesn't have the skill. He has the skill. He has the wrong attitude for racing people. So if that switches, then maybe he'll start improving and beating his younger brother, who's the faster of the two now. Well, then there's also the argument that they're running different cars, but let's not get into that. We talked about that already.
Well, Tekno won.
Okay.
So
Yeah, but that's different.
should be the faster one.
Okay.
He had
Let's
pro
move on.
circuits.
Noha Ben Mohamed in 11th.
This we covered already.
Covered him.
Yeah, qualifying was really good, at least the start. Mains didn't go well, but I think they had an emotional breakup there. So maybe that affected his main performances.
Okay. Then we have Pekko Ivonen. What do you think of this, Joseph?
Well, Pekko was quite unlucky with how the race unfolded because of the weather and because of how the track was redone to such an extent that it was low grip. Because I believe that even as it was, if it had just stayed dry, he would have been up front, qualifying top 5 and, in the hunt for at least a podium or more. But the good thing was that even though things were going against him, he made the most of the race and the situation. And, sometimes you don't see the results on paper, but you see the potential. And this was maybe the first time where, I would say the first time actually, where I saw sort of brilliant moments throughout the race. In the past, they have only been moments, but now it was consistently. So, for example, in one qualifier when there were a couple of drivers sort of not doing a clean qualifying run, let's say, and instead racing and then crashing in front and all kinds of stuff, he still kept his cool and made sort of good passes and avoided tangling, which is a skill. And it, comes back to what I said about Daniel Pariente. It's an attitude thing. So yes, it's skill, but it's also attitude. And you have to practice that. And I think that was the most impressive thing about Pekko at this race, showing that he has been able to mentally improve and maximize his result every time he's on the track. So I don't care too much about the actual result. I think his performance was a lot better than 10th place.
Okay, that was very, wow. I'm almost teary-eyed here. I have a few questions about the decisions on tires. I heard that Pekko had a good run in Q2, and then he got some info from another driver in his team that he should go to he should be confidently running the stiffer compound, even though it felt slippery. So what was the thinking there? Because I told Pekko myself that when something works and conditions are changing, just trust your gut, trust what worked. So what happened? I heard he ran a different tire in every single qualifier. So what was the thinking process behind that?
So in the second round, he ran the K0 Kamikaze Pro Circuit, but then that was already sort of, the sun was starting to shine a bit. It was still cloudy, but then for the third round, the sun really came out, and the other Pro Circuit drivers said that they switched to the K1, and David Todd TQ'd that round. Like, he was TQ at that point. And so you can say that it's a mistake to change, but based on the information we had, it wasn't really a mistake, because the track temperature went up, the sun was shining, and the other drivers of that brand said that they started with K0 and switched to K1. And at the point Pekko is going to run, a Pro Circuit driver is TQ, someone who is not normally TQ, David Todd. So then, of course, you're going to go with that tire, right?
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Do you think it was actually the tire? Do you think it was a lie that they were K1, or?
I don't know, but they were also running the sort of new prototype tire, maybe replacing the Kamikaze. So I don't know what the truth is. They did feel as soft as the K0 that we had. So in hindsight, yes, we should have just run the K0 again and it would have been good. But there was no way for us to know that at that point.
What about other drivers who were like Berkan or someone who was running Pro Circuit? Did you look at their tires? So what I'm getting after here is, was the Pro Circuit guys running a different tire that felt soft because the thread was different and they could run a stiffer compound, or did they actually just run the K0s?
I don't know what they ran, but the new tire looks the same. It's just the center pins are different. It's very similar to the Kamikaze. And then the last round, we ran OGR, I think, because the track was dry then. Was it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the tire that, when the track is dry, was always the best. So.
Okay.
That was it.
Well, sorry for putting you on the spot, Joseph. Let's move forward to Burak Kilic in 9th. I think this was also, okay, not being at the race myself, can't say what happened at the race, but just by results, it looked like a much more mature Burak Kilic in the qualifiers, that is. I'm not saying anything about the mains. He did drop 3 positions, but I think this is kind of a thing that happens to good drivers, that when the first 2 qualifiers are shit, they're like outside the top 10, not even close to making the main. Mayfield's notorious for this. And then I'd say Canas has been doing this a lot recently as well. And Ronnefolk's done this before. Basically, it is that you have drivers who are like almost always like on the brink of making the A main, and they might have a good weekend. And then you have someone like Ronnefolk who's tied with them on points, or Mayfield or whatever. And then they just pull out a miracle run in the last 2 or 1 qualifiers to make it into the main. And I feel like this is something that only the top drivers, like actual top drivers, can do. And Canas did it at this race, actually, which we're going to go into next. And then Burak did it as well. He had a 6 in the 3rd. And I think that's like a specific skill or maturity or whatever that only some guys have. One of those guys who don't have it is actually Marcus Kerup, which I want to talk about as well. But yeah, I think that was really good from Burak. Of course, I don't know what happened in the mains. I don't know what he was like at the pits. He could not be acting as mature, but at least the result-wise, I feel like it's a good showing when you can do that, when you can actually pull yourself out of the ditch with miracle runs.
I think on a driver stand, they were going a bit back and forth with Marcus and Burak himself. There was some shouting and taking out, but nothing major.
Okay.
It's normal stuff.
Yeah.
No punches were thrown, so all good.
Yeah. Wasn't it Canas and Burak who almost started hitting each other
Yeah.
one time? Or Canas and someone. Yeah.
Yeah, Buggyland.
Yeah. Yeah, Joseph, what do you think about what I said on Burak in general?
Yeah, I think he is a driver who had a pretty bad reputation in the past. I think it's still sort of stuck to him, but I think he's actually changed a bit because he's still aggressive, but he definitely, it looks like he's not trying to hit people. And he made some really amazing moves at the race, like passes where if the other person didn't give the position, like realize that, oh shit, I got passed, then they would have crashed. But because the other person gave the position because they lost it, then it was clean. So I think he has changed and is changing for the better. The temper and the yelling is still there, but what he does on the track has improved, let's say. And I think the J Concepts drivers struggled a bit in the beginning. Maybe they figured something out towards the end, and then in the mains again, maybe they picked wrong. But him and Canas both improved towards the end. Like the last round was good for both of them and secured them in the main. So I think, yeah, really good driver and improving his on-track antics. This race challenging because of the changing weather and picking the right tire. I think that kind of sums it up.
All right. Moving forward, David Todd. I don't really know if he deserved to start fifth, but he deserved to be in the main. Had he not run Pro Circuit, he probably wouldn't have been in the main, to be honest. But he's an up-and-coming driver. I want to mention also the new Junior European Championship in e-buggy. So that's a good title to have. Mugen driver, 3 Mugens in the main. That's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I feel like David's missing sort of the final step in speed, but he's making these appearances in the mains. He's making these challenges for great results. That third in A3 was a good one for him. That TQ as well. I mean, let's be honest. Yes, that TQ in Q3 was partly because of tires, mostly because of tires. But at the same time, I mean, Joao was running those tires as well. It's like, and he still has to run a good run. So, yeah, I'd say this is one of the better weekends for David Todd. And then on the other hand, there's probably a lot of races where if he was running hot race, he'd do much better, you know? So he's being loyal to Pro Circuit, and now it paid off. So good for him. 8th place finish. I'd say that's one of his best finishes in his career so far.
Yeah, I think because of the advantage with tires, a bit of a sort of overperforming in a sense, but he is, a potential top driver for the future. He's already really good, just needs to clean up his driving a bit, calm down and go sort of safely fast, let's say, and then he'll be right there.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those drivers who drives aggressively and drives on the edge, similarly to Joao, where he drives the car really hard and just randomly it catches him out, not to the level of a Barufalo where it's going to catch him out at some point, but to the level of like Figueiredo, where he consistently makes mistakes at times you cannot predict because of the way he drives. Just sometimes he's too close to the edge. But he'll be better. He's still young. Junior European champion. Then Canas, 3rd in A2 from 11th on the grid. I think that's insane. Another victim of the tire roulette, I'd say. J Concept really suffered when it was wet. The drier the track got, the better the J Concept seemed like. I think the saucing definitely helped them a lot. What do you think? I feel like I have to say that S-Works, to some extent, struggled at this event. Like, usually have like multiple guys somewhere there, but it seemed like, both of these top S Force guys were struggling. So was there something with the car they was looking for, or do you think it was just, Kanash was 7th because of tires, not because of anything else?
I don't know. I don't see a reason why there would have been an issue with the car. I think just tires. And Kanas was maybe the most inconsistent in the way that if you watched one run, you'd be like, okay, Kanas is out. Like, he's not even going to make the main. Then you watch another one and you're like, okay, well, he's going to be in the fight for the win. So it was really weird in that sense. And for the mains, I don't know. He also suffers from, a bit of a sort of nutcase if things don't go perfect. So the highlight of the weekend for me was in the back when Pekko passed him, sort of bumped him a bit and passed him, and it could have still been okay. Like they could have continued racing, but Kanas just held it pinned and did like cartwheels and backflips and then run the track backwards and jumped the big hill in the backwards into the infield and flipped over. And that was amazing. Entertaining for sure. So yeah, you can in RC apparently you can be a multiple champion, European champion, and still lose your mind completely when things don't go your way. So
yeah, I mean not only in RC. We just had a couple weekends ago, Marco Bezzecchi in MotoGP. He was leading the championship, crashed, was so pissed. The marshal was running to pick up his bike, and he just straight up fucking punched him in the face, and he got a race ban because of that. It was a punch. Yeah, got a race ban for that, and now he's injured as well, so lost his championship lead and all of that. So it's not only in RC. And then we of course know George Russell, who, when things don't go his way, he lashes out with anger, borderline violence.
I heard of a guy who is not a champion, but he got mad at a lapper and turned their radio off. I heard about it. But actually there's an update to this story. Okay. When we were in China, a guy came up to me and said that I'm responsible for, I think it was FlySky. I'm responsible for FlySky modifying their radio and changing it so that you have to hold the power button for like 3 seconds to turn it off or something. And they did it because I turned Ben Sterling's radio off at DNC.
Wow.
True story. That's amazing.
Okay.
I'm proud of that now.
Design influencer. You're a design influencer.
Exactly.
Actually, JQ was famous in China because of that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, they were like,
are you
the guy who turned the radio off?
Yeah.
Oh my God. They knew you from that?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, let's move up the list. Adrian Periente, your more desirable of the two children. Wait, that was still wrong.
You just keep on digging a hole here.
Yeah. I think Adrian, it was decent. Like 6th is okay. I have nothing to say against him. Like, I don't think this race suited Seismic tires, so they was on a bit of a back foot. He had a great Euros. Very different style of weather track that he's used to in Spain. I'd be happy with 6th. I have nothing bad to say about him.
Yeah, I think good overall. Actually, I don't really have any comment. Nothing good, nothing bad. Just good performance.
Yeah. Top Sparko. 5th, we had Marcus Carup, and I want to start out with a bit of a roast. Not a roast. I'd say it's a bit of like what the fuck is 4-wheel drive, 10 scale. Was it not Euros last year? Maybe EOS. Seeds like 3rd or something, 5th. Not terrible, but definitely struggling, making a lot of mistakes. Like, has speed, but just crashes so fucking much, he doesn't make the AMA. And here, I'd say it was the same story. You know, like the reason why he was in the B was, yes, hot race tires were struggling in the second day. And he got his speed back after they started sourcing. But you never see Ungaro do shit like this. Like, it's not like Matrix was having a great day and he was still starting fourth, you know? So Karup, he topped practice. He was like top of the first, second, and third round of practice and topped the last round of practice. The only round, one of the only rounds where he didn't top practice was when Pekko topped it. And he was second after seeding. So there's no reason for him to be BQ. Like, absolutely no reason. Even though it was a tire game, he should have been at worst like starting seventh, you know? And like, I absolutely don't understand how this keeps happening to him and him not changing anything in his approach. Because this is like the third or fourth time something like this happens to him on this level, like qualifying in the B. Like, it just shouldn't happen. And I think it's 100% attitude and the way he approaches qualifying. Because then when it's the mains, he bumps from the last chance easily to the main, starts from 13th, runs to fucking 5th in the race. And he had what did he have? He had a 6th and a 4th and a 12th. And the last 12th was only because of rain. He would have probably been in the top 5 again. Absolutely no understanding of how he lets this happen to himself. Like, how can he not understand as a driver of this caliber that, and it's not even like he's an 8 scale guy like, you know, Burak or someone who is notorious for running bad in qualifying and great in the mains. He's a 10 scale guy. Like, this should be his bread and butter, you know? But qualifying 6th is way better than in the B, you know? Lucky for him, we have bump ups. But if it was 10 scale, he'd be out of the race. And he finished 5th in this one. So I think that is absolutely silly that he does this. And like, I'm saying does this because he does this to himself. You know, no excuses for him. You know, Ronnefog was in the main, no issues. And that's the only reason why Ronnefog finished 4th. And Karup was way faster than Ronnefog. Ronnefog was slow compared to Karup.
Is that a gap, bro?
Is that a gap? Yeah, he that's my next point. I think he's served at least one drive-through. And like every time Tom mentioned him on the stream, he was having some kind of penalty. So
he only had a one
last time,
drive-through.
Only one? I felt like it was more than that. But
and he pinned the drive-through, so it wasn't that big of a difference.
Okay. Last time at Neo, I said that he's capable of driving closer than other people. And that's why he has these things, and he takes too much risks, of course. But I feel like when he's racing in the pack, he does this so consistently that the drivers around him like know that he's going to do this. And yeah, also the referee knows. So he's got to have to change something. Like, I think he's really talented at running close to people. He just overestimates. Yeah, that's my 2 things.
But in the main he had was it A1 maybe? He had a really good move on last corner.
Yeah, but like you can have that. That's the thing. Like Coelho also has really beautiful moves at times. Used to have and still has. But he had issues with taking people out, you know. And I think Karup is one of those guys who's capable of making those beautiful moves, but because of his over optimism, we argued about this last time on the show, and I was defending him. But I feel like, you know, it's at some point you have to calculate your risks, you know. When your driver of his caliber
It's
in the
because
mains.
we don't get hurt in RC.
No, but I mean, Mark Marquez is notorious for taking people out, and you got definitely hurt MotoGP, and he paid for it, you know. So it's a mentality. It's even if he got hurt, he would still do it, you know. Oh yeah, he's really talented in racing, though. So he it's just about him slightly changing his attitude. Yeah, a really negative one on Marcus right now, but I've given him a lot of flowers in the past, so gotta give him some negative now, because he could have won this race. I think he would have been a very likely guy to win this race after what happened in seeding. You know, I'd say he was the number one guy to win this race, even though Pekko top seeding. And part of it is down to tires, yes, but if he kept his head together, even with the tires not going his way, he could have won. So, yeah. Do you have anything about Karup, Joseph?
No, nothing else. I mean, he had the speed. He made like maybe one or two mistakes, which put him in the B. But otherwise, could have been, you know, top 5 probably.
Yeah. Well, he finished 5th, but like
better.
in qualifying, yeah. If he started 5th, if he started 5th, 6th in qualifying, he would definitely had a chance for the win. I think he would have probably.
But even like the fact that he finished 5th, starting 13th, it means that he was fast. He had the speed, but also the sort of aggression and precision needed to get to the front. But then when you are like that, that's when also shit goes sideways sometimes. So it's a double-edged sword.
I don't fully even buy it. I think he, like, Reinhardt is one of those guys who can do it too, and he rarely takes people out. You know, it's just that you need to be very good at calculating what is the risk to take, and I think he just has to iron that out. You know, that's all it is. And needs to focus that a lot more.
Yeah, to keep the speed, but then clean it up a bit.
Yeah. Okay. Runnefall in 4th, starting from 9th. What do you think of Runnefall? I don't know. I just feel like this is what kind of Runnefall we have these days. You know, he finishes races in 4th, having a few good rounds here and there. This is the level. He's not like a Ongaro where he's always at the front. You know, he's like he can be an Ongaro on a good day, but then he has bad days and such. Of course, the tires played a role this time out.
I think that he could be better, but it's the same thing which I've said before. He needs to work a bit harder and practice more, test more, be more prepared, because it's like he shows up at the races and then improves throughout the race, where he should be peaking at the start of the race. So he kind of pulls it together and it looks good, and then sometimes when everything is working, then he can win, like he won the Nitro Euros last year.
Yeah.
But there is, let's say, room for improvement or potential to do better, but only he can decide to want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like a bad result, like 4th at the Euros. Yeah, fine. You had also on let's say bad tires or whatever. But well, not bad tires, but not the tires to run at the event. So 4th is not bad, you know. But he, like Karup, he could have been further up if he had prepared better. Ongaro in 3rd overall. I mean, if it was anybody else with his package, he wouldn't have finished 3rd. So this is just what he is. Ongaro is the best, even though he didn't end up winning. But yeah, I think with the tires he had, with the package he had, this is as good as you could have done it, you know? Yeah, nothing bad about Ongaro, typical, but he always does, you know?
I think it was the first main where he moved up to 2nd, then he made a mistake. And then the rain kind of also ruined him. So
Yeah.
yeah, third was sort of maximizing what he could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think even the mistake in the A1, like I think that is fine because he needed to win that one. Like he needed to have a win in front of one of the other guys to win the race. And had he finished second in A1, it wouldn't have changed really anything. Like he would have still been third in the end. Because Kilic won the second one and Figueiredo won the last one, and it rained in the last one. So even in hindsight, he did what he was supposed to do: try to fight for the win in A1, and yeah, it didn't drop in down, and could have had a chance for him to win. So yeah. Anything more on Ongaro, or should we just move the Berkan then? I don't know. I spoke with Keenan earlier today on the phone, and I said to Keenan that he was out of RC for a while, focusing on school and coding games or whatever. He was into that for a while, probably still is, but like more into that. He didn't want to be a full-time pro RC driver like Burak is. Wanted to be more laid back. Still go to races, of course, and so on. I heard from Keenan that he had some like health issues as well. I'm not entirely sure to what extent, but he had some health issues as well for a year or so. But he seems to be back. At the Euros, he was fighting for a podium. Here at the Buggy Euros, he was fighting for the win. All throughout the year so far, he's been really good. I think Montpellier, he was pretty good. Yeah, he was beating Burak. He's been beating Burak all year long, pretty much. So yeah, I'm really happy for Berkan. I feel like maybe he needed he never really took time off, but he maybe needed to focus on some other stuff for a while and come back in. And I feel like reading his post and his interviews and everything, I kind of feel like he's gotten a bit of a spark back into RC, and like maybe he wants to try actually to pursue this full time. Who knows? Maybe not, but I feel like this could be the sort of spark that gives him more confidence to move forwards and build him into the world's winning driver that I think he actually is capable of. Who knows? Maybe if he just fucking finishes a race, But yeah, good run for him. Second, I think he deserved the win. I think if it stayed dry, he would have won it, to be honest. And I think he would have deserved the win just as much as Joao did, the way he ran. But yeah, great weekend for Berkan. Second is good. Win would be better, but I think he should be happy with second.
I think he was actually better than I expected. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
he was good at the warm-up, but with all the changing conditions and this and that, then I think he did better than I thought. And yes, he also benefited from being able to run whatever tire he wants. He didn't run VP Pro every time. He ran whatever was best. And at this race, that also helped. But even so, really good performance from him.
Yeah. Yeah, and we kind of already talked about Joao, but do we want to give the final roses to him?
Yeah, well, like I said, he's a driver who has been racing for a long time and been really fast for a long time, but he always kind of drives over his head and makes mistakes at key moments and hasn't had the results that he could have, let's say. But this time he almost threw it away a couple of times there at the end, and I think even in the first race, but he didn't. So hats off to him, finally. And I think when getting this win will probably help him improve more, because now because he's done it, I'm sure as a racer he will want to at least sort of achieve a European Championship or something big like that. Now that he has it, then there's not that fear anymore of what if I never win one, or what if this is my only chance. So I think that's going to improve his driving, actually, because speed hasn't been his problem. It's been keeping it together and not folding under pressure. So now I think he'll have less pressure, more confidence, and he'll improve a bit, actually, for the future.
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, that is your top 13 of the European Championships in 2026 in Rakvere, Estonia. Yeah, what a great event. What a great organization. Track was great. Facilities were great. Drivers were great. But there was something that I feel like us guys we need to talk about. And that something is tires. We talked about it a bit on this show already. Quite a lot, to be honest. Mostly talked about tires. But I feel like before we go into that, Joseph, you said you had a little bit of a little rant before the tire rant. So you wanna touch on that before we move on to the tire rant?
I have a small rant. It has to do with 40 plus supremacy. You see, because I won the exhibition final, but then Sartell was in the C main and I was in the D main. So Sartell is 40 plus champ now. So it makes no sense. Mm-hmm. I practically lapped his ass 1 second a lap faster. And he wins. And we didn't even get to race for that because we were in different finals. So I think for the Euros, if you're going to have a 40 plus class, then just make it according to that final that we run, not the finishing order, because then we actually race each other for the win. And that's way more fun. And I think more clear also. I guess for the juniors, it makes sense that the best junior gets it. And in the junior final, if you make the main, you can't race that junior final. So then it makes sense. But in 40 plus, the fastest 40 plus guy is racing the 40 plus main. So the winner of that should be the winner. That's how they should do it. Then we always get to race for the win. So they need to change that rule. It's ridiculous. I protest.
I do agree. I do agree with that. That I think we should do it so that if you are in the A final, you cannot race. Yes, but you only take that one into account. So like the juniors decide, let's say there's one junior in the main. So the junior champion is that one in the main, but then second place is the one who won the exhibition race. So I totally agree.
Agree.
Maybe that's your proposal. You should send in your proposals for the EFRA AGM by
Well, we can do it like last time when I had an idea of bump ups for the e-buggy mains. Then you do the proposal and you send it. And one day in a podcast, when you say you did it, then I'll take credit for it. Rightfully so.
Yeah. Yeah. And truth be told, you did suggest it to me, but I had already drafted it. Okay. So great minds think alike. Okay. I know when you sent that, I remember it, but I had already done it before you said it. Okay.
Sure you did.
Do I need to have receipts or something?
Yeah. For extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
Well, I mean, what if I tell people you didn't even send me that, Like I was just trying to cover your ass here. Find a middle ground. Whatever. We're going to rant some. So I'm going to play this old clip.
We are now at that point of the show where you should fasten those seatbelts and put your big boy pants on.
Whoa. Things are about to get serious.
It's time for the JQ Racing Rant.
What is it, by the way? Oh,
it says 2 there. Should be number one.
Oh. Oh, by the way,
They gave me the wrong trophy.
Why didn't you shake hands with the guy who finished third?
The guy who finished third is Sami Pajalin. He's famous in Finland for all the wrong reasons. He's the guy that got me banned from my home club for calling out our club, what is it called? Our club board for banning a guy. It was a wrongful and unfair and unjust ban. And because I called them out, I got banned. Pekko got banned too, collateral damage. But Pekko actually got his ban. He got his ban revoked relatively quickly, but I was banned for like a year, pretty much. Now, because the board has changed, I'm unbanned now. But that guy, unless he, changes his ways and apologizes and figures out how he is wrong, I'm not gonna interact with him, other than tell him to fuck off if he approaches me.
Okay.
And there on the podium, he was in third, and he reached out a clenched fist for a fist bump, and I told him, "You're a fucking idiot. Never gonna do that." Basically, I said that in Finnish.
Okay.
And he said,
"Oh." He was surprised.
He was surprised because people like that, they don't face consequences. Normally, they just get away with the bullshit behavior because most people are agreeable. So then when they act all fun, like nothing happened, all friendly, then people just go along with it. But that doesn't fly with me.
Okay, can't disagree with you there. Your actions have consequences. Let's move on to the rant. Enough with the 40 plus. Congratulations to Jerome Sartell. That's who won it, for winning the 40 plus championship.
Yeah, actually, I also want to say congratulations to him because he was like untouchable in qualifying. So obviously I was, following where he was going. He was actually the one. He is the reason we ran Pro Circuit in Q2. You know why? Because Sartell was like amazing in Q2. Really. I'm going to check right now where he finished. But I remember seeing that and I'm like, there is no way this fool suddenly remembered how to drive. There's no way. He has to have an advantage. Okay. So then I went to his pits and I asked him what tires he's running. And he said, it doesn't matter. It's my driving. Oh, yeah? No way. So figured out it was Pro Circuit, Kamikaze, K0. I'm like, okay, thank you for this information. I'm going to use this to advantage. Okay. So he was 25th.
Yeah.
He was 25th. He got 9 laps in 5:22. So he's he was 10 seconds from a top 10. That's really good. That's really fast. I had a 29. So I knew something was up. I did a 36.
The game was rigged.
0. He did a 35-0. So I'm like, this guy is not 1 second a lap faster than me.
Savoia did a 29. 5:29 that round. So he was 7 seconds ahead of Savoia. Yeah.
So anyway, after I found out that he ran the Pro Circuit Kamikaze K0, me and Pekko had to argue for about 25 minutes, and finally he agreed to run them too. Because he was definitely not going to run them. Yes.
So
I think it actually took me running them. It took me running them, I think, and then he accepted, thankfully.
Okay. So that is a perfect segue into our rant of the day, which is once they added that little bit of oil on the track and the rain of the overnight, people started to have issues, especially the Matrix guys had issues. Well, not in Q1, but that was because of sourcing. So I explained earlier on the show today that there is some speculation that Ongaro used additives at the 2024 Worlds in Bredovan, and it's totally legal. It's not illegal. It's by the rule book. Nothing about that. But it's just not typical for a lot of people to use sauce at an outdoor track, you know. But there was some Keenan swears by this, that he saw it happen, and I know that it's happened at other events in America, that people sauce because they sauce all the time, and it seems that when the Matrix guys sauce in America, they're actually pretty good. So I believe it's become a bit of a habit for them at some tracks that their tires like sauce sometimes. So when they did it, Noah got the TQ in Q1 with his, I don't really know what the tire thread is called, but it's somewhat of a, they've taken influence from the Seismic Magma tire, and they ran that tire and most likely sauced it. I would imagine they sauced it, and he got a TQ. And I think that opened a whole can of worms for these guys. And Jono was actually mentioning this on his own post, so I'm not talking out of my ass here. So Jonas said specifically that they started sourcing the tires and they found the right combination by the end of qualifying. Let me bring it up on screen. Whoop. All right, here we have it. A little bit laggy today. I'm sorry about that, guys. So Jonas says we got caught off guard when the track was re-oiled before qualifying. It completely changed the conditions, and the tires, based on practice, didn't work. And then for him, the first reruns of qualifying basically spent trying to find a tire treatment that will work on the oily, slimy track. And then in Q4, it was too late for him. And then he said that at least in the finals, he showed his pace. And he says it's frustrating that we reached a point in 8 scale where tire treatment can make such a huge difference just to have a chance of driving around the track competitively. And it's funny because Carops are running hot race. So Joseph, you posted that video of Jona walking to the parking lot with Marcus Carup's dad, Jonas, to source the tires. And that got some people going online. It had some interest. So let's clarify a few things. It's not against the rules in any way to source the tires. It's only against the rules to source the tires at the track. So nobody's breaking any rules. Nobody's doing anything illegal. Everybody knew that people were sourcing. People were openly admitting they were sourcing. Nothing about this. It just has a weird stigma in Europe, you know. But basically, it started from a lot of the Matrix guys suffering when the track was re-oiled. Then the hot race guys similarly suffered when the track was re-oiled. Pro Circuit worked wonders, and then the sourcing started. So you, Pekko, said earlier that you tried the sourced tire first in Q4. It seemed like a lot of the other guys started from Q1. You said, oh yeah, in Q4 you still had just the Ogo in standard?
Yeah, just the Ogo.
Yeah.
Without the sauce.
Okay. But a lot of the guys sourced already in qualifying. And JQ already posted on his socials about what is the answer to all of this. And it's just fucking let's run spec tires. Let's run, if you need to have a tire impound, have a tire impound. But actually, like, one other thing, having that fucking tire sniffer that Carlos has had at these races, if you had controlled tires, it would work because all the tires should have the same reading, work. But I digress from that one.
Yeah, they were testing the tire sniffer and apparently it worked.
Yeah.
That's what they say, at least, that it worked. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, the readings were like way off the charts when there was a tire that was sourced or one that wasn't.
Yeah.
But then again, even then, I think there could be some additives that wouldn't register on that machine. I think the solution is simply to not allow it. Like I don't understand the argument that, oh, we have to allow it because we can't police it. That's like saying, okay, let's make rape legal, because sometimes people get raped. We can't control it, so let's just make it legal. That's stupid, okay? So rape isn't a good thing in society, right? Mm-hmm. Especially, Max understands. He's wearing a feminist hat, for God's sake. So
men get raped in prisons as well, so
yeah, well, mostly
I would say this
men
is
on women, right? But the point, like, okay, this is not good. It's damaging. It's not something healthy people would even consider, so we can't accept this. So it's illegal. Mm-hmm. The fact that some people rape and get away with it, and maybe, even become presidents in some countries, that doesn't mean that we should allow it. That's not how the world works. So control tire, I think sourcing is not needed in 8-scale off-road, and it should be banned. And the way to control it is pretty simple. No sourcing allowed, and if you're caught, you are disqualified. Or you get a 3-year racing ban. You can't get a license. You can't do your nationals, you can't do Euros, you can't do Worlds. I bet you anything, the number of people who would risk that, I can count on a hand with probably no fingers. Really. Like it's not going to be a problem. Because
I
risk
agree.
versus reward is so big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe you'll have one here, one there, but it wouldn't be an issue. I really don't think so.
So basically, because this is an argument we had with Keenan the last time we was on, his argument was that even one wrongful conviction of sourcing is enough to, like, because we cannot definitely say that you have sourced.
Yeah, but
and we cannot definitely say. Wait, let me finish. We can't definitely say that you have not sourced. So Keenan's argument to this, he even said it today, that you cannot police it perfectly, so it's a tricky rule to enforce.
Yeah, but you can police it well enough. If someone's tires come on smelling like fucking chemicals, right? Then you say, no, you have to glue another set. You don't know for sure what they've done, but you're like, these feel very soft. They smell like cancer. You can't run these tires. You don't disqualify them. You don't give them a penalty. But they're on notice. Glue another set. Let's see how they smell.
Yeah.
So you can police it. And then if someone is actually caught, like they have additive in their bag, they are walking off somewhere, you go through their things and, you find all the stuff, then it's like, okay, well, we got an issue here. Maybe even then it's just disqualified from the event. Then when you have video evidence of them sourcing their tires at the race, then you go like, okay, 3-year ban, done.
Yeah.
There's ways to do it.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think basically your argument, and I agree with the argument, is that to have a rule that if caught sourcing firsthand, you would get a 3-year ban from racing. That is enough of a deterrent for people to be scared of doing it, and for people to basically look after each other, that, hey, this guy's sourcing, and they would be then under a magnifier and whatever. And I think that is basically that used to be the thing in Europe before, because sourcing was so rare that if somebody was sourcing, everybody would know about it. Like, there's countless of times we see people going to parking lot and they get caught. They always get caught, and that is, I feel like at a race like this where there's so many people in such a tight space, and chatter goes about, there would be enough like people to catch someone blatantly cheating like this. And those who get away with it, good for fucking you. You know, if you do the work to find a source that nothing can detect, fucking good on you. You know, great on you. But I feel like it would take so much effort um, that it would not be worth it.
Yeah, and the problem now is
So
that it's hard enough when we are racing with a no tire rule to pick the right brand, tread, and compound. That's hard enough. And then there's the issue of then when you figure out what tire works, you can't even get them, which makes racing really unfair. Then when you add additive, it's like, which one? And when you allow it, it becomes this thing where people are going to start testing and trying different stuff. And that's not a good thing either, really, because it's not exactly the healthiest thing in the world. And we shouldn't be chemical engineers to race RC cars. I don't think so. Like, that's not the point. And the difference, like, the tire is the most important thing in racing. Like, you can even make a John Deere like look like a race car if you have an advantage with tires. So it really matters. When people started sourcing, that lap times improved about 1 second or so, and also then the track improved because of that. So it's a big difference. It would not have been possible to continue the race unless running pro circuit without sourcing, because people were sourcing. Like, that's just how it is. Like, you could not compete. So
pro circuit, that is, yeah,
unless you were running pro circuit. And even if I would argue that, let's say it was warmer and sunnier and the grip went up more, pro circuit would have been out the window. They wouldn't have had a chance anymore. You know?
Yeah.
Their tire suited this condition. But had it moved further, it wouldn't have been good anymore. And then I just think that if we don't have a control tire rule and we don't have a rule against additives, then this is like the beginning of the end for 8-scale off-road racing on a high level, in the sense that it's going to be too complicated and expensive for people, and they'll get discouraged because they know they are better, but they can't do well because they don't have the right tire and they don't want to source their tires, or they don't know what to get or how to do it. So that's the exact reason why on-road classes have died in the past, and then they've been revived when rules have been changed. And we are at the point that we need to do it now for 8-scale. Because imagine that you pay for your stuff and you save money and you go to the Euros, and then you have a limited budget and you aren't sponsored, and then you figure out that you need this tire. This is now the best. You can't get it. Even if you had money to buy them, you can't. Like, you cannot buy them. So you have the wrong tires now, and you've paid for everything, and you already know you're at a massive disadvantage. I just don't think it's right.
Yeah, you make a few points which I kind of want to lead the discussion to. The first one is just a quick one. A note that this time around it was the case. Pro Circuit had prototype tires that nobody was able to get, and they apparently, to at least to some, either there's two truths to this. Either Pro Circuit lied to you guys that K1 or was good, or their new tire was better, which was not able to be bought. It's only for prototypes. So either one of those two is true. Both kind of suck. Then the point that I kind of want to lead the conversation to is we have so many sources and so on that are ridiculously unhealthy. For example, the stuff that you guys were using, which Pekko said before the show, I know for a fact that you should use a mask protector when you apply that.
That's
I bet
probably why
none of the
Pekko got a
guys.
headache.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
actually like when we used this additive, it was we went out and put it on the tires. Obviously, at least we had gloves, so
Mhm.
we didn't do it bare hands because we knew that it's probably gonna melt your hand, so you don't want that.
Yes, it
And
does melt your
yeah,
hand.
like a couple, I don't know, like 30 minutes after that, I had a massive headache and I felt like I drank 5 beers in a row.
Yeah,
So for sure, not really healthy for you. And
yeah.
Then
like
I
you
had
can
to deal
see
with that
what,
additive
yeah,
stuff because it didn't affect me.
like what they did for touring car that not usually now is controlled additive also, because it would
Yes.
probably go through the roof what they would be using. So that's, I think, also a problem. It's a health risk.
Yes. So, like, imagine using this sauce, for example, at Padova, where you're pitting indoors, or somewhere. No, it's a ridiculous health risk.
Yes.
I'll give you an
But
example,
then,
okay?
yeah,
Sorry. So asbestos is one of the chemicals that, or not chemical, materials that cause
material.
cancer. Like, well documented. It's not used anymore because of that, right? But asbestos is really good for racing, like in brake pads, clutches, stuff where you need friction and high heat. Asbestos is
Yes.
good for that. But your driver's going to get cancer. So it's banned, right? Pretty sure it's
Yeah.
banned.
It is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah. So that's just an example. Like, if you just allow stuff, then people will look for an advantage. And sometimes that advantage isn't very good for anyone, really. That's why there are rules.
Yeah, exactly. So then the next discussion is obviously we need to do what touring car has done, which is control tire, controlled source. But I want to touch on a little bit of what do you think of like 10 scale indoors, especially in the US, where the tire prep is such a big part of it, and people kind of know what to do, so it gets easier. Like, do you think that is in any way even like a what do you call it, like a temporary solution that people just get used to it and then we get rid of it, or do you think we should just skip that phase completely? Because I definitely do. I don't want sourcing to become norm in ASCO in any
Well,
way.
I think this is a thing where I don't know why this is so hard for people to understand. When we race, we want to beat the competition. So we want to go as fast as possible, right? The point of having federations and regulations and all of that is to make racing fair and safe. And also promote and grow the hobby or the sport, whatever. I think the solution is really simple. We race off-road. The point isn't to maximize traction and make the lowest possible lap time. The point is to make racing fun and then beat your competition. So the solution should be you have to use this kind of tire and you can't use additive. And it's fine if those rules make the cars loose so you don't have grip. That's perfectly fine because no one has grip. So then everyone is in the same boat. No one has high grip. The racing slows down. The racing becomes more fun because you adjust your car. You try to make the most amount of traction you can with your setup. You have more time to overtake someone because everyone isn't on Velcro. You have to run lower power. You know, like these things I would argue, not just I would argue that those kind of changes would make racing more fun. Everyone always thinks that we need the most traction and the best lap time, but forget that. Shift the window somewhere different. Reduce traction. Everyone has that same low traction, and then try to make the best lap time there. It doesn't have to be with source and the best possible tire that you can make. No, it has to be with what the regulations allow. And the regulations could simply be that you have to use a pin tire, and the pin tire has to be homologated or something like that. That would already solve the issue, because then you can't run slicks, you can't run bar tires. So everyone has a pin tire. It makes the cars easier to drive. It lowers the traction levels. So immediately you're limited. And then no source. Yeah, we can run on the same tracks, but it's more fun because it's more sliding and off-road, and it's not like the racing is now.
Yeah, so, but do you think that's going to be the next step? So basically not going to a full-on spec tire, just going to a homologated tire pattern?
For 10 scale off-road indoors, then that should be the move, I think. I mean, control tire is the best, but even then, if you have a control tire, the tire should be one which is designed like that. So not the best possible grip. The low off-road should be sort of medium to low traction. That's when you have the best racing.
Yeah, I do agree. I just personally, I just think that we should, like, we are getting to a stage in off-road that you cannot control the development of tires. When you have a surface that is flat, consistent, and relies on chemical grip, almost as much as just pure mechanical grip, it will be a fucking tire war, you know? It's already that in 10 scale in America. It's partly already that in some parts of Europe, like now in this race. And like partly I think track surfaces do play a role. Like we could solve this issue with having tracks more broken up, more dusty, and so on. But at the same time, the reason we go to tracks like this is not because drivers want it, it's because clubs need it to stay afloat. Like clubs don't just be like, hey, let's do this because the drivers want it, but it kind of sucks in every other way. No, like they do this because it's much less maintenance. It's much better for the club. The track stays together. People don't complain that the track's broken here or there. The jumps stay together. All of those things are the reason why tracks are like this. So now we just need to make the rules so that the tracks stay together and they're fun to drive on, you know? And also the thing with like the sniffer or whatever, I think for 2027, let's say next year, if we have an FRA AGM, well, we have an FRA AGM at the end of the year, what should be done is start the process of homologating tires on what they should look like, but impose a rule that anybody caught sourcing is put on a 3-year ban, like 3-year ban, and then introduce this that drivers can be put on like a gray list or whatever. So Carlos can walk around the pits with his tool. If somebody has a reading like this, like they are put on a gray list, and if they are put on like more surveillance or whatnot, you know, we cannot make the decision based on this machine because it's very inconsistent and we don't have a lot of experience for it. It definitely shows if someone has not used additives, but it doesn't show necessarily if someone has used additives. So we don't know for sure if you could get it around the machine. So it's not cut and so on, but I feel like basically what you would have to do is get one of those machines, try hundreds of different additives and ways to apply it, and get one to pass it. And it's not even like guarantee that that will work out for you, and you're going to spend countless amounts of time and money and so on for it. So yeah, I think that is the way forward. Impose this rule that if you get caught, you get banned. It's not allowed in any point, and drivers can be put on a gray list, whatever. I think that will solve it. You know, people won't be sourcing because, you know, it will be quite an asterisk on someone's championship if F releases that you have been put on a gray list, but you have not yet been proven to be sourcing, but you have been caught by the machine. You know, of course, there's issues then on the other end, which I want to discuss as well. Like, what if manufacturers source to begin with? You know, and they get caught with the machine.
Yeah, but that's
yeah.
not really an issue, is it? I don't think so. Unless they put
I think it
asbestos
is.
on the tire.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I do think it's an issue if the manufacturers source their tires from the factory and they only give these tires to their team guys, for example. Or in general, I think actually, like, this is completely a different topic, but I think the tire homologation thing would be good, just because of the fact that then nobody could have prototype tires at the races. All the tires would have to be store-bought or like able to be store-bought. So, I mean, I don't think that's a bad idea for the Euros. So, and also another way for effort to make money. So, I think they would like that one. I don't know. Do you guys have anything to add to this? I think spec tire is just the only logical way to go. But if you think about now, the B Euros, I can't remember where they are this year. Did they already have? No, they haven't had them. Where are they? I can't remember now, but imagine B Euros were at this track. What a shit show would that have been? Because they have to run one thread pattern per brand. So like they have one thread pattern per brand, and then they have like all the brands can pick their own one. So yeah, I think that is one of the worst ways to do a spec tire from a customer perspective. Yeah, I don't know. I just think like there are issues with this, but I think, yeah, one way would just have to be that each manufacturer provides the race organizer a set of tires at the beginning of the event, and those tires will be available to be used, and then the readings are compared to those tires. Something like that could work just as fine. Or then just use spec tires. Much less work, much better. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to
open. No.
Yeah, I just think like we can talk about all of the solutions. We can go back to old tracks that blow out and are really pain in the ass for the organizations to keep up, and people complain about. We can go back to you know, sourcing, like 10 scales done. We can control the sourcing. We can have these machines. We can do all of these things, which will just add complexity to our rules, to our organizations, to our manufacturers. Like Nicola is one of the biggest defenders of open tire. I bet he's not very happy about how things were in Estonia. You know, I don't know if he was there. What did he think of it all or something? I would like to get his opinion on this. But he's one of the biggest defenders of open tire. And this is the end result of open tire. Yeah, he wasn't there. Well, maybe he'll hear about it. But this is a prime example of what open tire causes. Because if you had control tire, it would be ridiculously easy to tell if somebody's sourcing. everybody would be on the same field, on the same level, and it'll be fine. It's very rare that we've had issues like this at 10 scale Euros. Very, very rare. I have not heard of one, to be honest, in the past. So this is a particularly open tire issue. So yeah, I just think control tires, the simple option, make rules and regulations on which brands are able to apply. If you apply for one race, you cannot apply for another European Championships for 2 years, whatever, and that's that. Okay, last thing on the show. Thank you, David Bauman, for your super chat for $5. No 7-hour rant today. Thank you for your super chats. As always, David, one of our biggest supporters of the show, to be honest, these super chats every single time. So thank you, David, once again. We've been going for 3.5 hours. Pekko had already leave to catch his flight to Shanghai. I would like to thank every single one of you that joined. We had around 100 viewers most of this time, which was great. We covered a few of your questions and recap one of the biggest races of the year so far in Europe, that is. Yeah, I don't have much to add here. It was a nice show. No Keenan this time. It was a bit weird. I kept you people in control. Oh yes, this was something I forgot to ask you. When is the freaking gyro video coming out? Wait, you're on mute. I think I muted you.
On-road book.
Can you say that again? Because
it's coming, and I don't know if it's before or after my on-road book. So on-road book, pre-order now. It's almost August. I said it ships in August, so cutting it close. But maybe I can get the gyro video done before then. It's almost done.
You said a year ago, probably, that it was going to come out next week.
Yeah, and again, like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
This is actually a worse one. The 10 scale forward drive buggy comparison video. Which I actually did a lot of work for and never released. Maybe I should do it for shits and giggles.
Yeah, you did this like 2022, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you learned something, so it didn't go to waste.
Yeah.
All right. Let's wrap up the show here. Thank you guys again for joining us on the live. And thank you, of course, to our amazing sponsors, J Concepts. Thank you, Hitec RC, Invisiblespeed, Sidewinder Fuels, ML Toys, Elite RC Productions, Get Shit Done Coffee, Tekno RC, One Up Racing, Beach RC, Aiming Hobbies, SMC Racing, SJ Racing, Shaw's RC Shop, and Troginats. And of course, a shout out to our drivers, Ronafol, Batte, Hackberg, Matty G, and Mason Fuller, and to our lovely patrons and members. If you haven't heard, we are going to the Worlds in Texas with Keenan and Will. Full disclosure, we are a little bit short on our budget, and I hate begging. Keenan doesn't mind too much, but I hate begging. But it would be great if you people would join us to be members to the channel. I'm going to do members only content. Tech Talk will be members only. So make sure you buy the premium membership or patron membership on the Patreon side of it. And you will get this Tech Talk thing. I'll try to do 2 or 3 shows where I will be taking photos or videos of new stuff and talking about how they affect things. I might even have a chat with JQ when I do this. I will talk about some of the under the hoods, which will be brought to you by Invisiblespeed, by the way. I will talk about those on the Patreon side as well, but those will be available to everyone. But this tech talk side of things, I want to keep it for members only. And that is one way to support the podcast. Going to the Worlds is joining for members. When the Worlds comes, we'll try to probably, put some kind of campaign on it. We are working on some World shirts. It has been a long and hard process, but we're going to be releasing those shirts hopefully within the next few weeks. So you
Probably
have
after
about
my
a month.
gyro video.
No. We have decided
Actually,
what kind of design it is already.
I have to go now and finish my gyro video. I'll leave you
Okay,
to it.
let's let JQ finish his gyro video. I'm gonna give my ending spiel. Thank you, Joseph, for joining us.
Okay.
Once more.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye. So that is that for today's show, guys. Yeah, as I said, join us, members. We're trying to not do a crowd race, or we're not that much sure that we need to do crowdfunding or anything like that. We're a little bit short, so any little bit of help you can do for the show is going to be greatly appreciated. Going into the Worlds, we're trying to do a 3-man thing. We're going to be doing live recaps every day. That's the plan. And you're going to be able to give super chats there. So if that's your chosen way to support the show, you can do that. We tried to do the shirts for the Worlds. I'm working on it. We couldn't find anyone to do it. I'm working on it. It's almost done. We just need to finalize a few things. Yeah, we're going to go. That's for sure. We'll handle all of that stuff. We want to we want to do it so well that people will be blown off. I think we have talked about stuff. We have a plan in place. I'm excited to do that. The Worlds are going to be great. Yeah, but just announcement of a few things, housekeeping here. Thank you for everyone who watched today. 3.5 hours. It was a great show. A little bit difficult without Keaton. He's really good at doing these things, keeping people in check. All right. Yeah, had a fun one. See you guys in the next one. And go buy some NNRC merch, actually. They are still live at RC Racing TV. See you guys next time.
We're just about to watch the latest No Name RC podcast. Do you know what? Good news. You can now get NNRC merch from the RC Racing TV website.
Yeah, you can get hoodies, shirts, hats, and even pint glasses.
I'll drink to that. Head over to nnrc.rcracingtv.com and get your merch today.